A 7-point lead with under 5 minutes to go, but got a late Jason Tatum 3 to force overtime, and then they beat the Knicks 119-117 at Madison Square Garden. Tatum had 32 points, and Kristaps Porzingis added 34 in the win, but Joe Mazzulla was so-so on the evening.
Being a part of a game where you have to execute and it tests your attention to detail, I thought our defensive attention to detail was good. I thought our offensive could use a little bit more work, so I think it left us with possessions that we know we have to get better at.
The Green have 59 wins now. They played a final road game of the regular season tonight in Orlando. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Bruins also won, and they got another big night from David Pastrnak to do it. Pastrnak had a goal and 2 assists to lead his team to a 7-2 win in New Jersey. 12 different players had at least 1 point in this game, and that includes the first Bruins goal for prospect Fraser Minton. The Bruins play Chicago at TD Garden tomorrow night. One of the coldest nights in Fenway Park history last night, and the Red Sox are beaten by the Toronto 6-2. Bo Bichette 3 hits and 3 RBIs for the visitors. Garrett Crochet undone by a pair of errors during a 4-run Toronto sixth. The 4-game series continues tonight, and the Denver Nuggets yesterday fired head coach Michael Malone and GM Calvin Booth with 3 games left in their regular season. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
New England plays here.
Ball down the right side, there's a separation. Yeah. Touchdown pass. Yes. Perfect dive from Drake May.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher
When has that been necessary to fact check?
and Hardy
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
on 98.5.
Hey there.
Sarge GPT going up.
Let me hear you say, boo, boo, boo.
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that.
Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fence and having some fun.
on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
He doesn't need to go out.
Yeah. He goes and he doesn't want to get up, so he goes and he sits on the couch.
Yeah.
He's got a whole routine. It's a lot of fun. And the cat is taking dumps right in front of the litter box, which is a sign apparently of anger or annoyance, but I don't know what I did. I understand when I go away and have someone just coming in to feed her and like hang out with her for a little bit, her being pissed off, but I don't understand once everything's back to normal, snap back to it.
It's called the dump of aggression.
Yeah, which is the name of my hardcore band.
I love that band. We're great. In
Dump
the
of
Detroit
Aggression.
hardcore style.
Yeah, Negative Approach. We used to open for them down at the Shelter.
Yeah.
Before it became this M&M situation underneath St. Andrews Hall.
Oh, yeah.
With the real Shelter when it was in Cass Corridor.
All right, right on.
You know?
I do.
There's this, well, I'll tell you off the air. Because everyone wants to hear about the Detroit hardcore movie, I'm sure, in the audience.
The pet situation in these weird weather times, our dog, now it's one of two things. She's been exceptionally cuddly and loving lately to everyone.
That can be annoying.
Well, I mean, I like it and Marcy likes it. My daughter is either thrilled by it or annoyed by it.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
can be
oh
a
my
lot.
God, look, she actually likes me. She likes me. I'm like, what is going on with this dog? So we think it's one of two things. Number one, they feel like it's cold and miserable outside, and they're somewhere in their dinosaur brain, they're thinking, don't put me outside and leave me there. I really love you guys. I really love you, and I like being inside. Or this is something I learned because I hadn't had like a female dog since I was a kid. When we had her spayed, the vet said they'll go through like a fake heat 2 times a year. And when that happens, you know, just because whatever they do during the spaying process, whatever, you know, anatomically is different about the dog, psychologically and emotionally, hormonally, there are still things going on that makes the dog think, you know, that it's breeding season.
Oh,
and
it's
they
very
said,
horny.
Yeah, well, not horny, but very loving.
Oh, horny though is what is that? I mean, it is what it is.
What else can it be?
Because it doesn't manifest as like like your boy dog who just walks around humping everything.
No,
Fred.
but I mean it's presenting.
It manifests in cuddling and nesting.
Right. Presenting, in other words.
But nesting and presenting are two totally different things.
Well, when they're nesting,
let me show you presenting. Come here.
in the animal kingdom, they call it presenting.
Or in the studio. Either way.
Yeah, I understand.
Nick, come in here and present for us with that ample bottom of yours. Who could refuse?
Nick, don't. Nick's he's HR crazy. He's going crazy. Yeah, my dog.
Present.
I'll tell you what.
Did he actually do it?
He knocked the Ryan over.
Wow.
Knocked the chair over?
Goodness.
Yeah, my dog, if he gets loose in my daughter's bathroom, look out. Look out. He loves her underwear. He loves anything that has ever been on her person. He loves it. Look like a murder scene in those places.
Why don't you, I know the answer to this. Why don't you buy the girl a hamper?
Oh, because they're too expensive. I can't put it. Oh, a hamper.
Unless you mean to say she has one, and the clothes just make it into it, which I refuse to believe.
Yeah, it never occurred to me to buy a hamper. Yes, yes.
Both my kids' rooms. There's just clothes everywhere.
She loves that dog too. And then I'm like, they told me I didn't tell you guys this. So, when I was first getting divorced, this is almost sad and embarrassing, but when I was first getting divorced, they, it's more embarrassing than anything else that happened.
My two favorite emotions.
Exactly.
Sadness and embarrassment. Go, do tell.
It's not sad so much as embarrassing. I told you, they go, what's your emergency contact for your dog? And I'm like, they're like, it's your number. And I'm like, yeah, it's my number. And they're like, well, we need an emergency contact. I go, for what? They go, this is a real conversation. And I go, for what? They go, in case we can't get a hold of you. I go, you'll be able to get a hold of me. And they're like, well, what if we can't? What if your phone doesn't work? And I go, well, my phone's going to work. Just don't worry about it. And they're like, well, we need an emergency contact. And I said, the reason you want an emergency contact is if I die. Because if I die, you need someone to pick up the dog. There's no other explanation for it. There's none. There's nothing that anyone I know can do to the dog that you guys can't do. Like, if the dog's in mortal danger, you take it. I mean, what do you need to do? You got to do what you got to do. So, I didn't know if they were going to take the dog anymore. I had just gotten, I was getting a divorce. So they said, give me a number. And I opened up my phone, and in my favorites, I have the show. But it was at the time of my divorce, and the show's lineup was different. And Nick's number was in there, so I gave him Nick's number. So Nick is in the animal kingdom is my emergency contact, which is pathetic. Now, not on anything medical, but in the animal kingdom.
Okay, I know something about this, but I want to hear where you're going first.
Oh, so did I already tell you this? And so when I was on vacation, I got this. Nick didn't do anything wrong. When I was so don't be disappointed. But when I was on vacation, Nick texted me and he's like, "Hey, the animal place where your boarding place called, and like your dog got into. They want you to call him. Your dog got into something." So at least I panicked, and at least 3 hours later, I called the place, and I said, "What happened?" And they're like, "Oh, your dog threw up foreign substances." And I said, "Was it underwear?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "Okay, yeah, he eats my daughter's underwear." And then they're like, "Oh, well, it can get wrapped around their internal organs and it can kill them." And I said, "Yeah, I don't like it. I don't."
Yeah, that would be would be too bad.
Yeah, like I'm not like, "Hey, I don't put it in his bowl." Like, I mean, what do you want me to do? So and I'm like, "Yeah, it's the underwear." And they're like, "Yeah, well," And then they're like this, in some piece of what appears to be rubber. Do you know what the rubber is? And I'm like, no. I go, no. The dog eats stuff. Like, it's a dog. I don't know what it. I don't watch it all 24 hours a day. Like, I don't like if maybe it was a little piece. Because now they're getting into they're like sifting through his throw up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like a piece of rubber, like a sex toy or something. It was like, it sounds to me like it was like a tiny piece of what they assumed to be rubber. Like they had sifted through his vomit. It was essentially underwear.
I wonder if it was a piece of weather stripping. Could you get a better description for me, please?
Yeah, I'll have to. I should have asked.
All right, but let me just interject for one second here. In your years ago, drunken rage at the counter of the dog check-in place, when you're demanding to know why an emergency contact was
not
needed.
This was when I was sober, but go ahead.
Okay, all right. In your
no,
in your
I wasn't sober, but I was sober when I was talking to them. I wasn't sober 24 hours a day. I wasn't drunk when I dropped the dog off.
How about this? When you're just being you. And you are in your the oppositional defiance disorder is kicking in, and you don't want to give them the emergency contact. And you say, you'll be able to get a hold of me. When they tried to get a hold of you, were they able to get a hold of you, or did they have to contact Nick?
No, they called, and when I didn't answer, they called Nick. That's not being able to get in touch with me. That's not emergency contact. Is an emergency where they cannot get in contact with you at all. They called me, and when I didn't answer, they called Nick. That's not what an emergency contact's for. That's not at all what an emergency contact's for.
It kind of is.
That's very unnecessary.
They thought it was an emergency.
There was nothing. Okay, well, there was nothing they had to do, or nothing conceivably they had to do. There was no.
Thank God.
Right. There, a call to action that has
#blessed.
Okay,
that's what that you could. This whole story could be summed up with that. You are too blessed to be stressed.
Okay, if your son threw up a balloon, like a one of your balloon animals, threw up like a balloon.
You gave him for his birthday,
and you called the doctor.
14.
And you called the doctor. And they said, and you said, hey, and the doctor didn't answer. Would you go into the hospital and go, my son just threw up a part of a balloon?
No, I'd call the next number down.
Oh, BS. My point is, would it be an emergency? Would you call 911?
First of all, you can't compare the dog to the kid. There's two different scenarios.
That's why I'm making it a completely different scenario with a real human being where there's real stuff. I look at an emergency with an emergency number as a 911 situation.
With my daughter, we probably would have. With the
if she threw up a balloon?
With the first kid, yeah. With the second kid, no. They had and to this day continues to have lots of stuff wrong with them that we don't get checked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we took my son in with like 100-degree fever one time.
We sent our kid to school with a broken arm. Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think it was a particular woman at the dog place that was being very was just having a thing when she was asking for all that. When your wife has been your emergency contact, and then there's another reason. I didn't particularly want her knowing when I was boarding the dog. Okay, yeah. All right. So I didn't want her to know when I was boarding the dog, because if I was boarding the dog, this is at the beginning of the end of our marriage, that we had separated. And there was still like that, like I didn't want her to know where I was and stuff, like if I was going away. And you guys were around for some of this. It was better if the two of us didn't know each other's comings and goings.
I got that.
Like when we didn't have the children, when one of us didn't have the children, it was probably better to know if one of us, not to know if one of us had to be boarding an animal. That was the thing.
In reflection,
that was why I was so obstinate. If now coming to think of it, that's why I was so obstinate. I was like, I have enough going on.
Yeah.
Like, I want this to be a secret. This is between you and I. I want to be able to board the dog here. I don't want anyone to know I'm boarding the dog here. I just want the dog to be boarded here. I have to go. I have enough pressure on me. I'm going away with the woman, and I don't want anyone to know because I don't want any crap. I'm going through divorce. Can we please? It's all fine. It's morally all on board, but can we just please not have anyone know about this? That was my big thing about not wanting to give my contact up. That's why I was being that way. It's funny. I didn't think of that right off the bat, but that is exactly it. Because I thought at one point Stephanie must have been my emergency contact because I got contacted by Stephanie one time, and I thought the only way she knew I was gone would have been the dog place. But that might or may have not been the case. And if they're going to call about anything, about them throwing up underwear, and a pretty good case. Like, you know, because as you can imagine at the beginning of a divorce, if someone calls my ex-wife and goes, hey, your husband's dog just threw up a pair of underwear, and they're like, well, I'm not married. Where is this? And they're like, it's a dog hotel, and you're going through the beginnings of a divorce. You can imagine that is going to be, why are you at a dog at the hotel? And then you're going through the beginning of divorce. Now, my ex-wife is still, and me to her, like emergency contacts on medical stuff because of that relationship is always just going to be there. But at the beginning of a separation, it's you don't want
a lot of emotions.
There's a lot of emotions, and it's all like weird with like dating other people and stuff, and so it's like a whole thing.
Is Nick your emergency contact for anything else?
No.
In reflection, would you choose someone else to be?
No,
the
Nick was
emergency
very
contact?
good about it. Nick was calm.
But you can envision a scenario where they would need an emergency contact.
Seriously, only if I was to die. They needed someone to get the dog.
The dog got in a fight with another dog. It's got its eye hanging out. The doctor
Take
wants
it to the emergency vet.
Okay, and we did. We're here now. The surgery is going to cost $10,000, or he can just remove the eye, and it'll be a lot cheaper. What do we do?
Not get in touch with me and take the cheaper option, so there's no moral quandary.
Well, that's not a form that you fill out.
You can't just fill out a form that says cheaper option.
I don't think that the cheaper option waiver.
Yeah, because my parents took a dog one time to Cleveland from Detroit to get her.
Well, that's every dog's dream.
To get her leg.
To go to the dog pound.
Worked on, because they didn't want any of their friends to know they were getting rid of it. No, they took a dog to Cleveland to get like an artificial leg on it. And then the dog lived for like 3 more weeks. they paid like.
I was just going to ask that
because the only thing my dad really likes is dogs, and so like and so they took the dog to this. I mean, they drove the dog to Cleveland, got this experimental procedure, and it probably lived for 3 more months. But like the dog, they spent like $10,000, 20 years ago on this fake leg.
Oh boy!
And then the dog just turned around and died. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm a little skeptical of the. If you've owned a pet, you're a little skeptical of the veterinary industry as it is. They rarely are you pushed towards the cheaper option.
I think if you've owned multiple pets over the years and you love them, and you want to do everything for them, there is at least one procedure that you've done that you look back on and say, God, I wish I hadn't spent the money on that.
Yes, certainly.
The laryngeal tieback surgery for Lyle.
Because they know they got you. That's the thing.
Well, he was grunting when he was like, oh, we can fix that. We're going to, his vocal cords are getting in the way of his airway here. It caused that grunting sound.
It's just unbelievable.
$2,600 later, it softened the grunt. That's all it did. I'm like, well, that was money well spent at a time that I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
They have because they have you by the balls, and it's like the easiest sales job of all time. Like if you're going into sales, being a vet, just become a vet because it's the easiest sales job of all time. People are extremely vulnerable. They have something that they're giving you that has no control over itself, that you're completely responsible for. It's the equivalent of like a baby. It's not even the equivalent of like a 12-year-old. Like a 12-year-old at least can feed itself and tell you if it's sick, tell you how it's feeling, interact with the doctor. Like, the animal is just completely, you know, obviously you're the only conduit to other humans for the animal, and they know that, and they ask you to do everything. They ask you to bring a cat in twice a year. I'm not taking my cat out of the house. They're taking a cat. The Fluff lived to be 21.
Once a month now, Fred. Call, email, text. Hey, you know, your cat's not protected. My cat lives indoors and never goes outside. What would I protect it from?
I took the Fluff to the vet before, towards the end. I took the Fluff to the vet 2 times maybe in the Fluff's entire life.
Senorita Fluff?
Senorita Fluff.
That's
I was talking about Senorita Fluff
R.I.P.
yesterday.
Mademoiselle Muff?
Comparing her to these garbage cats that are around now.
I still can't get over that story where you actually had to get on a speakerphone to calm your cat down. I'll never forget that. It was Stephanie was driving with it, and it wanted no part of her, and it was acting out, and she got you on the phone, and you had to speak to the cat over the phone.
What'd that sound like, Fred?
Get it, Fluff, Fluff. Get it, Fluff. Pusa kid.
And it worked.
And then it went meow.
How old was the
Yeah.
cat at that time? Like 19?
Probably
1 million.
In cat years, 1,000. That cat was so effed up at the end. I should put pictures on Instagram of what that cat looked like at the end. It weighed like a half a pound. It was and it died at the vet in the car on the way to put her to sleep.
Oh.
It went into rigor mortis like right when we parked.
Oh. So what was it carrying that cat inside?
I brought it inside, and they were like, "It's heart. Her heart is still sort of beating,
but it's stiff as a board."
Just held it by one leg and stuck straight out away from your body here.
A popsicle.
Do you have a mail slot or something?
I know.
Because I don't know. What am I going to do? I don't even own a shovel.
Well, then there's the whole like, do you want the ashes? And then you got to be like, yeah, but they're still at Stephanie's house.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. She's like, do you want the ashes? And I'm like, not particularly. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Like what do I want with the? It's such a dumb thing to get. I have a fraternity brother that got his dog's name with its ashes tattooed into his skin.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy.
Whoa.
Yeah, for real.
God.
Yeah.
Was he a little?
No,
out
he's
there?
like he seemed like a totally normal dude except for that.
Jesus.
But it was a whole
That
thing.
was weird.
All right. Okay, Xanadude, hold on. I'll take you because you deserve to celebrate. We'll take Xanadude when we come back and keep you up with everything that happened last night. Toucher and Artie. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game, but what happens to change your lettuce and change your life. With Dr. Matthew Lepresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. It's been a long time. Xanadude is, of course, the guy with the glasses and the Bruins cape, and he rollerblades all around. He's got nothing to do nowadays because until the lottery, the draft lottery. But Xanadude, hello.
Hey, Toucher. Thanks for putting me on the air, man. So Xana Duchess and I appreciate you giving the lead in here. We are so happy to welcome to the world the newest Bruins fan, the ultimate Xana Cub, our new baby Ryder Vaughn. And just,
now,
I love,
you really named the kid,
this guy so much.
You named the boy Ryder after the jersey you wear.
We absolutely did name the boy Ryder because we needed a Bruins name, and also my wife is an equestrian, so we needed a name that would associate with horses, so Huss Ryder. But we went with the Y spelling. She let me get it in there. And no playoffs this year, but he and I have already been watching highlights of the 2011 playoffs in order to get him used to what life around here is going to look like, and we are so in love with this guy.
Yes, it's something else to have a child. There's no question.
And congratulations. Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Yes.
I want to address this.
What do you when you think about, you have a boy, and so when you fantasize, as we all do when we have children, about the future and you know them growing up in their adolescence, at what point do you get him in rollerblades out rollerblading with you with the Bruins flag?
I mean, my dad had me on ice skates at about age 2.
Yeah, I understand that.
I would like to follow that.
That's not unique. That's not unique, though. What point do you have him skating this? In your mind, do you have him? At what age do you have him skating the streets of Boston with you?
I think elementary age at some point, maybe before that, if my wife will let me, get him in a little thing and just rollerblade up and down the street and have him in a little backpack in front of me. I have that Ryder flag. Maybe I can get him to hold that once he has the grip. So as soon as possible is the answer to that question.
But you have fantasized about that, correct?
Oh yes, once I can have him behind me, have his own little flag going out there. You know, as soon as he's able to get to a game, I want to get him up on that jumbo screen or jumbotron, hold him up with the do the little Lion King music, get him up there. We are guaranteed fan of the game, but I want to get this guy going as soon as possible because it's a thing I love and I want to share it with him.
What do you get for fan of the game? What is the award?
You get a gift card to sale. You get a gift card to Sales Pizza. They make it look like they give you a pizza, but it's really just a $25 gift card.
Well, I would suppose that's better than the pizza because the pizza would go bad. But, so do you now have do you think this is like a legacy now? Do you see your boy Ryder, and congratulations again, do you see him, like, when you leave this mortal plane, like him being Xanadude? Is that him taking over?
I mean, I'm hoping so. You know, children make their own decisions, but I really hope and pray. I've often said that, I love my season tickets, and my kid is going to inherit those. And I love the idea that he's just going to continue this ultimate fandom. But even more than that, the idea of going to games with him once he's elementary school age, and that point, is something I'm already, almost falling over crying, thinking, oh, my God, I'm going to get to bring this little guy to Bruins games. I already know what his favorite jersey is going to be every time we pick a game. So I'm so looking forward to sharing that with him.
What's his favorite? Ryder, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, I've been wearing my Michael Ryder jersey all weekend.
Well, that's surprising.
So I see him. I have that giant Michael Ryder flag from the 2011 playoffs. I got it from the Bruins organization, and once he's old enough to appreciate it, the idea that that's going to be on his wall, he's got to be looking at going, that's me. I'm so looking forward to sharing that part of my life with him.
All right. Well, Xanadude, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate the airtime.
All right, there you go. Congratulations to Xanadude.
I think it was nice of me specifically, but no one else in the room to let him know that there's a very good chance that kid cares nothing about hockey and does not share his father's passion.
I think
You can try.
Squashed his dream right there.
No, you can try.
Let him have this day.
I know.
Let him have this day before you pee all over it. Seriously.
What do you want?
I mean, he's happy. He just had a kid. He wants the kid to follow in his footsteps. Let him have that. Why can't you let him have that?
I did. He's gone. I didn't tell
him. Let him have it for about 30 seconds.
But in your guys' lives, is there something that your son that you are in sports that you're into that your son doesn't care about?
Yes.
What what is it?
Golf.
Oh,
well, that's a big ask. That's a big ask.
Is it? I go out to these ranges and I see 8-year-olds out there striping 7-irons. They're out there because they want to be out there. My son will go with me, but he never asks.
All right.
He's never out in the yard swinging a club.
Okay.
But
these are things
boring.
I did it when I was a kid. It was something I loved.
You also did magic.
This just clicked into place for me, and I never understood why until this very second. We were at Topgolf, one of my sons and I were at Topgolf at the same time that Hardy was. And Hardy, being a nice guy, ambled over, sat down, and saw my son, Aaron, swing a club. He hit a couple of BBs, and he was hitting the ball well, and I turned around, and he looked really, really angry. And I didn't know why that was. And he got up and he left. And now it's longing for, how come my boy won't do this with me?
I had no idea I get
now.
When I see like an Instagram reel of some like prodigy drummer who is 6 years old and is playing Rush YYZ, and then I'll look up from my phone, go find my kid sitting in his room, just look at him, shake my head, and then walk away. Like, look at you. Look at you.
You know what? Your kid's going to be cooler for not having played golf when he was a kid. When he gets old, my dad used to make me go play golf with him when we were on vacation, and I remember this every time I'm on vacation, just how miserable I was, and we would just fight the whole time because he would pay a lot of money. He would pay for like Harbor Town because he wanted to play it, but I didn't really I hated golf, and I didn't want to play. And then we'd get out there, and I would be pissed that I was there, and he'd be pissed that he had paid all this money for me to play, and that I didn't want to play. So it was never gonna work. I just
a passion for any of it. I took the entire family with me to the practice round of the British Open. And, Will Zalatoris is there walking down the fairway. You think my daughter, took a picture? You think she even noticed? No. They don't care.
She just wants the next TikTok jibber jabber.
I'm like, Will Zalatoris, he's right there. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah. What is it? What's the problem? He's not sitting in the car jibber jabbering?
Exactly.
He's got a jibber jabber. See, my son has fallen right in line. He's a Jet fan.
Baseball.
Well, he's left-handed. That was not an option.
Oh, okay.
He's going to play baseball. Well, I took I've taken hands. I'm forced to do a lot of stuff now. I'm not doing anything.
No, but in Little League, you were there.
I was there.
You were there.
I was there. Now
Kid won a couple of championships. You were there.
I was. Now I am hands off. But well, I mean, as much as I can be. I mean, I'll be out till 10:30 tonight. But and then when there's a crisis, like the game pants are missing, and I need to be sprung into action.
How'd that work out for you?
Oh, I mean, it was a real disaster, John. It couldn't have been. There was no other way to have it handled.
But the game pants were found by the hotel staff. They were shipped back, already laundered, and they're sitting atop his dresser.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
A crisis diverted. But
they didn't send him back?
No, they never got back to me. Strangely enough. But I did in good conscience call the hotel.
No.
I did in good conscience call the hotel. If you don't know, during the show one day, I had a communication going with 3 different people about my son's missing game pants for his high school team. And I wondered aloud to the rest of the crew why I was doing any of this as I was on the radio at the time. I didn't know why. And no one else was on the radio at the time. But me, the only one that was actively working or going to school at the time was I. And I was wondering why I was in control of the game pants as I had no access to any of it. And there was nothing I could do. That was my question. But and your kids, do your kids like sports, John?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, so they watch sports with you.
Yes.
Does your son like sports at all, Hardy?
No.
See, my daughter doesn't, but I like that. Like, my daughter doesn't like sports, but she'll watch, like, movies and stuff with me.
He likes because something's almost always on in the room that I'm in, right? So if something violent is happening in hockey, he'll stop and watch.
Sure.
I can't really blame him though about the hockey thing because if you don't play,
no, my son doesn't like hockey.
That's
hockey. That's back of
that's a tough
back
ask.
of mine.
My son will only watch the Jets. The only thing he'll watch on TV is the Jets, and he likes going to baseball games. But other than that, in the Celtics games, whatever. But he doesn't even want to go to Bruins games. He didn't care about the Bruins. I didn't care about hockey when I was growing up because I didn't play.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, like I didn't play. I didn't get into hockey. I'm quite a little poser. I didn't get into hockey really, like start legitimately watching until I had a good friend in college during the Rangers run.
It's funny, very, very similar. I had big Red Wings fans that I was friends with and became roommates with in college, and that's when I started watching them like earnestly. And then it was weird when I moved to New Mexico. Classic case, you don't know what you got till it's gone. There is no hockey on the TV, in the late 90s in New Mexico. So you really had to seek it out. And that's right around, when the Red Wings were, starting their back-to-back run. And, we did everything we could to find those games and watch them. And that's when I really got hooked. But I was probably like you, Fred, early, maybe starting like at about 19 or 20.
Right, because
I really started watching.
Yeah, the Rangers won that cup, and the Red Wings went on that run, and I wasn't super into the Red Wings run because I was never a Red Wings fan. And then when I went to Atlanta, they gave me season tickets to the Thrashers, which was fun. And then that's when I really started to get into it, and it was fun.
And you met Billy Jaffe.
And we're still, he's on today. We're still friends. We're great friends. We see each other and talk on the phone constantly.
That's pretty rare.
That's like real friends. Like talk on the phone.
Like equals.
That's right. Like equals is what the thing is. Not talk on the phone. You're right. There you go. All right. Yeah. But that's the thing. My son is into sports. My daughter is not. But she's into comedy and stuff. I find the duality. I'm very fortunate in that way. Because if they were both into sports, it would be it would be too much. And so my son has no cultural appreciation whatsoever, but he's into sports. And my daughter's not into sports at all, but she has some appreciation of comedy and things of that nature. So I enjoy I like that. I'm very fortunate because I was not happy to have a girl right away. I wanted another boy, but now I realize how fortunate I was to have a girl. Unlike you, John, who has two boys and will never know the joy of being a father of a daughter.
# girl dad. Huh?
Let's do it.
Huh?
Get out your Instagrams. Let's start doing it. And you're left out. Ha, ha, ha.
Damn it.
All right. So we'll be back. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics held off the New York Knicks in overtime 119-117. Kristaps Porzingis 34 points. Jason Tatum had 32, including a big three at the end of regulation. Now the Green have to turn around and play again tonight in Orlando. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Bruins beat the Devils in New Jersey 7-2. David Pastrnak a goal and 2 assists. They have 3 games left. They're home tomorrow night to play Chicago, and the Red Sox lost again to Toronto 6-2 at Fenway Park. Blue Jays got 4 runs in the 6th inning to snap a scoreless tie. Bo Bichette, 3 hits, 3 RBIs for the winners. The 2 teams will play again at Fenway Park tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Charlie McAvoy, and Tuukka Rask. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
This is Sean Grandy, voice of the Celtics. Tune in tonight at 6:30 for Star Market Celtics Tonight. And check out the Star Market app. Earn rewards and save on your groceries and gas with Star Market for you. Download the Star Market app today. Go shopping, get rewarded. Star Market, the official supermarket of the Boston Celtics radio network.
Hi, I'm Eric Vaden. I'm the
Toucher and Hardy.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
The Celtics up 193 to the Knicks in New York last night. 5 minutes to play. No problem, right? Uh-oh, wait a second. Knicks make a run. Can you believe this? An NBA team made a run in the fourth quarter last night.
Brunson dribbling between his legs, going to step back, take the three. No good. Rebound belongs to New York. Xanadude to put back.
Was Brunson player of the year at Villanova?
I think he was. Just
Okay.
thinking about it off the top of my head. He was a stud at Villanova, so yeah.
Was he a lottery pick?
No, I think Dallas got him late. I got to check. I think Dallas got him in the 20s.
Oh, I can look right now.
Well, that caps
30 round 2.
Yeah.
30-30. You know, sometimes take the star. Sometimes take the star.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking the star.
The thing with Brunson, though, is he's short.
Yeah.
And people are like, okay,
Yeah.
how is this guy going to play at 6'1" or 6'2"? Well, if he's that good, he'll figure it out.
They
Remember,
said the same thing about Peyton Pritchard, and look at him now.
Yeah. Same thing.
Same player.
Same thing.
That capped a 12-2 run by the Knicks. They took the lead there and had a 107-104 lead over the Celtics in New York. Less than 12 seconds to play.
Down by 3, 9 seconds to go. Tatum into the front court. Tatum steps back away from Anunoby. 3 in the air.
Go.
Got it! Jason Tatum ties the game with 2.9 to go.
We did one thing before the game. We highlighted Jason Tatum on the biggest stage.
Okay, so Tatum on that 3. By the way, John, I'm not going to say he traveled, but there seemed to have been an extra tiny little step off the pivot foot as he set himself. It was a great shot. It was beautiful. But was it travel-y?
Nothing that James Harden wouldn't have done. I don't know what your problem
It was
is.
just a tiny bit travel-y.
Leave it to you to focus on the negative. Jesus.
What a shot, though. By the way, missed free throws from both teams last night down the stretch there. New York was terrible.
Tatum especially, by the way.
Tatum missed one. I think New York at the end of regulation was like 10 of 17 on their free throws. It was putrid.
The reason why the Celtics were down 3 is that Tatum got fouled taking a 3, but missed the third one, and that put them down 1. The Knicks score basket, so they're down 3.
But you know what? They go into overtime, and you've still got Tatum, and you still got Kristaps Porzingis.
Derek White dribbles behind the Porzingis screen. Shot clock at 7. Derek White spins to his left. Floats it back to Porzingis. He's going to take the deep 3. Got it!
Porzingis say he got fouled then.
8th of the night for Porzingis. Celtics by 3.
That was from like 80 feet.
Yeah, he did get fouled, too.
Oh, my God.
He did get fouled. But, that was 3 steps behind the line.
That was ridiculous. You watch Porzingis take that shot. Anyone else, I would say almost in the league other than Steph Curry, and certainly anyone on the Celtics, you're like, what are you doing? And especially when you watch Porzingis' shot, it's not a beautiful arcing three-pointer. He lines those things, man, but nothing but net. And the Celtics going to win it, 119-117. Porzingis last night, 34 points, 32 for Jason Tatum.
All right, couple quick things. First of all, they play again in Orlando tonight, and they had to go to overtime, and they had a lot of players play a lot of minutes last night. I think tonight might be one of them scheduled losses. Orlando has a lot to play for. Jaylen Brown, by the way, did not look good last night. 22 minutes, sat in the fourth quarter, sat in overtime. He's on a minutes restriction, clearly. But the other part of it is when he was out there, didn't look good at all. That knee is really bothering him. So if I'm the Celtics, I don't play him again until the playoffs, about a week and a half from now. So that's one thing. He's not going to play tonight. You figure Porzingis isn't going to play on the second night of a back-to-back. Probably Drew Holiday, too. And I don't know if you want to rest Jason Tatum. All I'm saying is you played in New York. You had to fly to Florida after the game overnight. You play again tonight. I wouldn't expect a lot of participation at all from the Celtics this evening.
Well, you say that, but then you get on that stage in Orlando.
Right.
Under the bright lights, and and pride takes over.
Don't have anything to play for. You locked into the 2. Why play anybody?
Exactly. Bruins also played last night.
Keep them sharp.
Played the New Jersey Devils, and look who got on the scoreboard first.
Pratt waited into the middle, picked off by Pasternak's got a free spot down the left circle, and he scores. Pasternak with the steal, fires it past Markstrom, and the Bruins grab a 1-0 lead. 12 straight goals, either a goal and an assist for Pasternak.
Bruins would go on to win last night. You ready for this one? 7-2 over the Devils in New Jersey.
Yeah, just in time to screw around and cost themselves a spot in the draft.
I know. They were tied for fourth worst in the league last night. Yeah. What David Pastrnak is doing, by the way, I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone if they're not watching Bruins games anymore, other than Xanadude, but he has 40 goals again. He just had he's got 100 points again. And you heard what Ryan was saying. I mean, he assisted on the Bruins' second goal of the night. 13 straight goals that Pastrnak had scored or assisted on, and that was too short of the NHL record before it got snapped in the second period. But if there was any doubt how good a player that guy is, if he doesn't play well, nothing gets done with this team and this roster this season.
Well, then
and he's doing it. Everyone realizes he's the focus, and he still goes out and produces.
2 games ahead of Philadelphia. They got 2 games in hand. You need to lose.
Yeah.
You got. Let's go.
3 games left.
3 games left. You lose all 3. Let Philadelphia have a little spike at the end of the year. You're firing your coach anyway, and get yourself. What would that be? The 4th pick in the draft, and then. But there's a lottery, so who knows?
Yep, you can move up.
Felger was talking about the prospects yesterday. I started looking myself.
Oh, good. So what do you have for us?
I don't remember anything that I saw. I didn't digest any of the information. But
okay.
The kid that they had the Bruins taking it for is very large. He's a center.
Didn't they just draft a guy like that?
Yeah,
last year, the guy who couldn't get off the bench at BC?
This kid's got a lot of points, though.
Okay.
A lot of points in this Euro League that he's in.
By the way, Garrett Crochet is, I think, John, you mentioned this earlier. He took a 3-hit shutout into the 6th last night, but George Springer with another home run last night.
And the Red Sox kicked the ball around a little bit on him.
Yeah, 6-1, Red Sox lose.
Well, listen, John's asking why you're doing this. He's got his headlines, after all. I mean, he's got that coming up. All right, Joe Murray.
Oh, this is all part of what happened last night.
Joe Murray has a whole situation going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun to investigate in just a moment.
More touch.
This is your home for every Patriots game.
Look into the end zone, trying to keep the play alive. Falling down, he goes to the end zone. It's got it! Touchdown!
WBZFM and HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
A Beasley Media Group station.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics are now 33-7 on the road this season after holding off the Knicks at Madison Square Garden in overtime, 119-117. Kristaps Porzingis scored 34 points, and Jason Tatum added a big three-pointer late in regulation as part of a 32-point evening. Green will play their final road game of the regular season tonight in Orlando. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. In other NBA news, Denver yesterday fired head coach Michael Malone and announced that GM Calvin Booth won't be back either. Denver's going to the playoffs. They have 3 games left in the regular season. Bruins had 7 different goal scorers and a 7-2 win in New Jersey. David Pastrnak, a goal and 2 assists. And after a lot of losing recently, was more than happy with this particular evening.
Oh, yeah, I mean, very positive spirit. Like, obviously, can't say all year because the group changed, right? So, but yeah, probably confident enough to say that after the deadline, besides maybe that Tampa and the first 2 games after the deadline, then this was definitely one of the best games we played after deadline with the Tampa game.
Bruins now have 3 games left. They're home tomorrow night to play Chicago. Red Sox lost again at Toronto 6-1 at Fenway Park. Garrett Crochet was fine until the 6th inning when he allowed 4 runs, 3 of which were unearned. He took the loss. Bo Bichette, 3 RBIs for the winners. The 2 teams will play again at Fenway Park tonight. And Dominican police confirmed yesterday that former Major League reliever Octavio Dotel and 97 other people died when the roof of a nightclub collapsed in Santo Domingo at about 1 a.m. yesterday morning. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the $14.99 Big Deal Meals at the 99, like the crispy fried twin catch with North Atlantic cod and crispy shrimp. Available every Monday through Wednesday for just $14.99. You gotta love the 9s. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, what's it like to work with Hardy and Wallach?
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
A lot of food.
Oh my God.
The food, the good food that I had.
Oh.
Super.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub. I suggest you do. I mean, on days like today, you get to see Billy Jaffe.
Yeah.
And Forsberg. Hey, what excitement. So we got an email from our friend Michael W. He says, with timestamps. He timestamped the thing. He took the audio and timestamped it. I mean, this is the audience going above and beyond. He says, "Hi, Jim. I hope you all had." He sent this on April 6th, so that was Sunday, right? So he did this over the weekend. This is just a listener. Said, "Hi, gents. Hope you all had a solid weekend, catching up on sleep and minimal BS to deal with. Okay, how did I miss this nugget testing? Joe's blind testing food is always a Marconi. Hilarious. Just add Joe's moaning, and you got 15-minute segment of lots of chewing live on the radio. Effing hilarious. Have a good night or good morning, whatever you filthy animals read this." And I guess what Joe did, because I deliberately have not listened to the audio, is that they were in some kind of nugget discussion. And then he had them bringing blind nugget tasting. Is this what I'm led to believe?
No, this audio is from the Sylvan Street Grill live broadcast.
Okay.
That Joe was yeah, there's a different food here. What is it, Dorian? Is it desserts that he's it's desserts that he's indulging in.
Okay, I just assume this is it. I will send this to Ryan post haste. I will send this.
So you're saying there's more?
I'm saying that there's a nugget testing that he did.
Oh, okay.
I can send that to Ryan.
Yes, please do.
I want to dip it.
In fact, I'm going to have to send it to you because I don't know Ryan's email address.
That's fine.
Dip it.
Send it to me. I'll make sure it makes it on. But no, this audio is from, I believe, Monday night's live broadcast from the Sylvan Street Grill.
All right, I just sent it to you, Adam.
And I believe there were also if Joe was on social media posting some photos of himself looking very pleased with the array of desserts that were in front of him.
I think Joe might have.
What would you dip it in?
I think Joe might have sold the Sylvan Street Grill. I think he might have sold it himself.
I think he's old school that way.
Yeah.
Well, he hustled. I think he got into selling.
Who were we
when
talking about last week, Hardy? The guy from Albuquerque who's 1 million years old and sells his own radio show.
Hillman? Who's laughing? He'll be around when we're all long gone.
Truth.
All right, here we go. Here is the great Joe Murray. And I'm even surprised. I thought this was the other thing, but who cares? This is him at Sylvan Street Grill, the great Sylvan Street Grill, where when you put Joe on, you get morning advertising as well. Here we go. You know when that music plays, this is when Joe lets loose. Like this music that when he does this segment every night, this is why the Bruins season needs to end. Because it's so annoying now. Because I wonder if Johnson could just go, like, say the C word. And that, do you, in all honesty, do you think in the third period of a Bruins game, if Ryan, in a non-goal call, said the F word, that what percentage chance do you think there's a complaint?
Less than 5, but 100% chance that we get emailed about.
Across the Bruins radio network, somebody somewhere.
It's not just Boston. You have some weirdo.
Someone has to be listening.
Some weirdo in Vermont is probably listening.
Well, I would contend that makes no difference. How many people do you think were listening to the Bruins game in the third period last night?
I don't know.
A dozen? I mean, that's just, you're setting yourself up for torture. So I would guess a dozen. So I would wonder if you could just throw an F word out there.
Yeah, yes, by all means, lean into that. There was nobody listening to your friend Ryan Johnston last night.
It has nothing to do with Ryan. It has to do with the performance of the team.
It's not going to make him feel good.
Oh, stop it. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's not his fault if the team is good or not. People don't tune into the team for the play-by-play guy if they suck. They don't go like, yeah, sure, they suck, but I'm getting a great play-by-play call. Great play-by-play call adds to the lure and the majesty of when the team's playing well. Right. Everyone knows that. John took a step back. He couldn't comment.
No.
Because
he feels the same way I do.
Yep.
How is it an insult to Ryan?
It's an insult to everybody. It's an insult to the station and to the programming decision and to Ryan. And no one's listening. There's 12 people listening to all of it.
All the hardworking people putting in their effort on the broadcast.
You don't think that they're aware that no one's listening because the team sucks?
I think they're happy to be there and putting together the best product they can.
What does that have to do with the team sucking?
Has nothing to do with the team sucking, but they're trying to put together an entertaining product.
No one said it wasn't entertaining. You said that. I said no one's listening because the team sucks. I didn't say the broadcast was bad. I said the team sucks. How many people do you think are watching on Nesson right now? I mean, it's the same thing. If the team has the fourth worst record of the league, no one's listening or watching. How is that hard for you two to understand?
We understand it perfectly.
So I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be spoken out loud.
Oh, so the truth doesn't have to be spoken out loud.
Nope.
That's what you get in this room. One truth teller, two phony jabronis.
Okay, yes.
Yes,
you do this from time to time, though. It's like no one listens to that, no one listens to that, no one listens to that.
No one listens to a bad team. No one watches a bad team. It's a fact. It's a fact. In any market, anywhere in the world, no one does it. It's a fact. At the end of a season where you suck, no one's watching it. No one's consuming it. The network knows it. The broadcasters know it. The audience knows it. Everyone knows it. I don't know why you're saying it like it's a FCC violation.
Don't want to be reminded of that.
I know Ryan. You know Ryan 100 times. You did a show with him. You don't think he knows no one's listening? The point is that he's at this point he's calling a damaged product.
No, the point was that you would rather be listening to Joe and you couldn't last night, so we're listening to the.
Yeah, it was the compliment to Joe has to be taken as a slight to Ryan, which is ludicrous.
Which is where you took it.
No, it's not. Joe does a show where it's his personality. Ryan is.
And you went down the road of there's no one who wants to listen. How many people?
It has nothing to do with Ryan. It has nothing to do with Ryan.
Right. So, but it has nothing to do with Joe either.
Yes, it does, because it highlights my love of Joe. That I was pissed the Bruins were on last night because I didn't get Joe.
Which is what I thought we were doing here. We were talking about Joe.
Yeah, but then you got all weird, you two, with not wanting to say the truth, which is very odd to me. You just admitted I'm right, but you didn't want to say it as if you.
But we're also saying you're like a dick for leaning into it so much.
I don't know. Do you understand how I'm being a dick, Adam? You can be honest.
Yes.
How am I being a dick?
Because you're literally saying no one's listening to the radio station,
And
which is counterintuitive to what we want people to do and believe.
But no one is listening to at the end of the season.
You can compliment Joe without leaning so hard into this, is what I'm saying. And I think what happened now is that these guys are pushing back, so you're digging in more.
I know. I honestly don't understand. I might be brain damaged. If no one's listening if the team sucks.
Because it's on our station, and it's not.
But it's on our station regardless. It's on our station with the chance that the team is playing well and people are interested. That's why you get the rights to the team. You don't get the rights to the team so you can play the last 4 games of the season when there's nothing to play for. Did you watch the Bruins game last night?
Yes.
Did you watch the Bruins game or the Celtics game?
I was flipping back and forth.
Oh, BS, you piece of garbage.
I was flipping back and forth.
You watched the Celtics game because you feel like you need to be on deck. Which one did you watch?
I watched, well, first of all, I was watching my production screen because we have a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, we do.
We have a big day tomorrow.
We do. Very big.
And then I watched Righteous Gemstones, and then I watched the fourth quarter of the Celtics.
See, now I believe you. John's full of crap.
I had 3 games working last night.
Oh, well, then you weren't watching anything, were you?
Oh, of course.
If you're watching 3 games, you're not watching any of them. You're really not.
I'm ducking in, checking in on all of them. Yes. I'm a fan of all 3 teams. I was watching.
You were a fan of what the Bruins were doing last night. You wanted them to win.
Right now I'm watching what David Pasternak is doing. Yes. Yes, I am.
I don't believe you for 2
seconds. You don't
seconds.
have to. It doesn't require whether or not you believe it or not.
In fact, I don't believe you so much. I almost am positive that you did not watch more than 5 minutes of real time of that hockey game.
I watched the first period last night. I watched them go ahead. I thought they were very good.
I'm not positive I believe that.
Okay.
What time did the Celtics come on last night?
They were a half hour behind the Bruins.
You know what's weird, too? The Bruins game, they re-racked at 10:30 on Nesson, and it was listed on the guide as new. And
really?
New and live. Now, I wasn't up for it, but I saw it there. I'm like, what the hell? They're not on the West Coast. It's like I had to, I was questioning myself.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of the Bruins last night. I had to catch up on the Righteous Gemstones. I mean, it's like you wait too long, and someone's going to spoil it for you.
I just saw him on the boat. That's all I know. Keith, go ahead.
I just wanted to let Fred know that last Saturday the Bruins got about 800,000 viewers on Saturday night. Just looked it up real quick for you. I think a little bit of some people watching.
800,000 on what network?
ABC.
Oh, wow. Hot dog. That's a terrible point.
We really didn't need that phone call.
So you're saying they were on the American Broadcasting Company and they had 800,000 people watching them.
I didn't need to.
Congratulations, gentlemen. The caller just made your
the
point.
Bruins got a 0.5. I didn't need to know this.
He mic dropped, too.
Yeah.
Nicholas, I don't know who's on this other phone. I need one of you answering phones and putting information.
We're working on that right now.
Is it not working?
Information, and no, it's just it's a convoluted. It needs more detail, so it needs more nuance.
Oh, Jesus!
But we're getting
Christ.
it taken care of. It should be in here momentarily.
What?
Or just put them on.
Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ! What does that mean?
And now,
I'm not.
We might actually have
I'm not taking that because if I took that call, that would be it being a dick.
We've had a couple people this morning call. We've taken their info, put them on hold, and they've dropped off. So I think it was yesterday during the afternoon show there was some phone issues they were having.
Good.
So we might have to put it.
Which one are you not taking?
This would be being an a-hole, which I would not do. Yeah, so that's the difference.
But let's say last year on EEI, do you think like their shows during the day, like pretty much all season long, said, "Oh God, you turn on the station"? No, why would I turn on and listen to the Red Sox last
Because
night?
I'll tell you why. Because I would, if I heard them say that, I would go, "That's cool," because they're speaking to truth. They're speaking truth. Like, despite the fact they're not giving me a PR spin, they're stating the obvious that people aren't watching, that aren't listening. Like that people aren't listening because the team's bad. It has nothing to do with the quality of the call. It has everything to do with the team.
But in
fact, I would go, that's a station that will tell me the truth regardless. This is a guy who's not beholden to any corporation. In fact, I would go that I would really like that, as a matter of fact. 100%. Neil Rogers, I told you the first time I heard him, he's one of my favorite broadcasters of all time, was telling people to sell the company's stock. He was in a fight with management, so he was telling people to sell the company's stock. I would love it. I would go, you know what? That guy's speaking honestly. He's not spinning some PR tripe. And the guy who's broadcasting the games knows that it's not that no one's listening because the team sucks. It's the same thing as Major League. The whole concept of Bob Uecker doing the shot and saying no one's listening. It wasn't because Bob Uecker sucked at the games. It was because the team was so bad that no one was watching.
But there are times when you can't speak your absolute truth every moment.
If it will get you in trouble with if it's some group that is marginalized, absolutely.
We do it all the time. We do it with partners and advertisers and just things that we have to talk about on the stage.
Yeah, but we're talking about sports in a way that's supposed to be honest, and you're supposed to be able to talk about teams honestly. And when the team sucks, that's going to cost them viewers. When you suck and you sell off at the trade deadline, no one cares anymore. That's it. That's it. To me, an obvious statement. And in fact, if I was listening to this, and I'm probably completely wrong, I would like me the best in this case.
Okay, is that what you want? You want to be liked the best? Because
I'm speaking. No, don't do that. Don't do that. We're having a conversation about what's going on.
But,
you said if I heard on EEI. No, you asked me.
Yeah.
You said if I heard this on EEI, what would I think? And I would say I like that guy the best.
Okay, but if you did that continually throughout a season when they were bad for the entire season, that at some point.
Well, I didn't do that. I did it with 4 games left. So you're giving me a scenario that didn't occur.
But you're talking about, just always, speaking honestly and passionately about it, because you still have relationships to maintain. You still have a partner in the Bruins. You still have a broadcast that's going on.
Well, would it be honest if it was not at the end of the season? Because there would still be in some opportunity, if they were eliminated from the playoffs, if they had won 2 games, if give me a scenario that if it's February and they've got 4 points, yes, I would say that. I would say that no one's listening. Yes. And I would think every advertiser knows, and that's the gamble you take. If the team's good, the team's good. If the team's bad, the team's bad. You want to be a partner with a team. They're going to have ups and downs. I mean, that's why teams want to win. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. If the Red Sox are good, Nesson's ratings are?
2 thumbs up.
They're higher. And if they're bad, they are
poor.
Correct. So to me, this whole conversation, which thankfully we can save the Joe audio now and maybe get to the wing eating thing or the chicken tender tasting. This has been an interesting exercise for me because in all honesty, it's very truthful, this whole thing. I am speaking my honest to God truth. Liz, go ahead.
I don't think you're being a dick, Fred. I think you're being honest. I don't think you're wrong either. I appreciate what John's trying to say, but nobody listens to the Red Sox or the Bruins if they're terrible.
Now, you agree that's not an insult at all to Ryan. Ryan, who I championed during that entire hiring process, you agree that's not an insult to him, correct?
No, not at all. It's just the truth. Nobody's paying attention if the team is bad. He could be doing the best in radio in the whole country. Nobody's listening.
Well, Liz, thank you thank you for agreeing with me, but thank you for at least I know I'm not completely insane I don't understand.
Insane. It just doesn't feel good if you're in any way involved with it, whether you're with the team or one of the advertisers who's still on the games, or even Ryan or the broadcast.
I can spit. Well, I think that I wouldn't feel that way if I was Ryan, and I can tell you this, and I've been in broadcasting for a long time. I wouldn't feel that way. In fact, I think it's better for the station to go. And I'll say it another way. I think it's better for the station to say, I like the night program that we have so much that I miss it when it's gone. That's personality driven. It's not beholden to any kind of outside success. It's completely reliant on the talent in the room, which is ours. And so I would go, if I was the program director of the station, I'd like it. If I was the program director and listening to the station, I'd like it.
I will say this, Murray's Musings, you can't miss. 10 o'clock every night.
That's what I was saying.
I can tell you that. I am a faithful listener of that when Bruins games and Celtics games are not on.
So you're watching 3 games and listening to the radio at the same time
when
now?
the Celtics and Bruins are not on.
I was waiting till
you
logic
had
took
2
over.
ears and you weren't listening.
You turn on your bedside radio and turn on Joe Murray at 10 o'clock at night?
I listen to Joe Murray when I'm in the car all the time at 10 o'clock.
Adam's telling me to push this to 25, so let's keep this going. This is fun. Adam wants to keep it going. We have a lot of calls. This is what it took to get calls. Remember how we were asking that we wanted calls?
We never get
All right,
phone
let's
calls.
take the calls. Why not? We'll take the calls when we come back. This means you have to babysit phone lines. It doesn't happen very often. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
on wood. But I never had it yet.
Oh, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports
As
Hub.
the final seconds tick off. And an explosive performance on offense tonight for the Bruins as they score 7 times on 25 shots. Put up their biggest offensive performance of the year, a 7-2 victory here on the road over the New Jersey Devils.
You could hear the excitement in the air. All right, the Bruins we're Toucher and Hardy. The Bruins are limping towards the end. In fact, they have the 4th pick in the draft right now, now they have the 5th pick in the draft,
Yeah.
but the Flyers have 2 games in hand, so you want the Bruins losing. That we all agree on, correct? It's better if the Bruins lose?
Yes, that is correct. It is better. I mean, if you're going to...
If you're a Bruins fan, you want them to lose, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we were playing audio. We were going to play audio, Joe Marie. It's actually better we didn't play it because there's better audio to play. And I was saying how much I'm pissed off. I was pissed off that Joe's show isn't on, like, now when the Bruins are on, because the Bruins suck so bad. And I said, I wonder if Ryan said the F word with like 3 minutes to go in the 3rd period, how many people would hear it? And John and Hardy said I was a dick for saying that because it was insulting to the station and to the broadcast. And Adam agreed. And I said, I disagreed. I said, I don't think it's insulting to any of them because it has nothing to do with them. When a team's bad and it's the end of the season, and we all agree that it's better if they lose, I mean, why would you want to listen to that? It's a terrible team. There's no reflection on Ryan. And in fact, it's a compliment to Joe. And because Joe is a singular personality whose entire success is based entirely on his performance, it's not beholden to the actions of others, such as a team. And then there are some times in life and on the show where I'm big enough to go, well, maybe I'm just weird and I don't understand how I'm being a dick. So I asked it to be explained to me, and none of these answers were satisfying. So we never get phone calls, but yet here we are.
Mm-hmm.
For interest or for not.
Lots of people curious.
Am I way off? And I said, I was asked if I heard me saying it, or if I heard it on EEI, them talking about the Red Sox this way, I'd said I would like the guy. That's the guy I'd like, is because he's telling an obvious truth. He's not spitting some PR nonsense. In fact, I don't even think this is controversial. But again, I have a weird brain, as evidenced by my many, many times in the Cuckoo's Nest.
You got to put up your own fence lines and things that you feel good or okay talking about, things you don't. There may be a show on the other station at a day part that you think is better and you like to listen to more than what's on this station. Would you say that on the air?
No, because it would be insulting to the person that does the show. So, like, the show is that person. It's not reliant on a team.
Yeah,
and also I wouldn't promote the other station. No,
but that's kind of part of it, and so whoever is doing the show, that's part of it. But it also relates to the advertisers and the people involved with it. And all
again,
this
if you're
other stuff.
advertising on the team, you're banking on the team being good, and there's other things that go into the partnership than the last 4 games of the season. Jason, go ahead.
Hey, boys. Hardy and Wallach, this is unbelievable. Do you guys think you're sitting next to Mike Greenberg? I mean, it's just nonsense. Like, he didn't say Ryan stinks. And, Hardy, you indicted yourself. You're over there saying, I watched the last quarter of the Celtics and I watched Righteous Gemstones. At least Fred is promoting Sports Hub. Hey, don't tune in now, but tune in later because this guy's good.
Well, I didn't say don't tune in. I just said no one's listening just because the Bruins are so bad.
And it's no indictment on the broadcast. I live in New York. The Mets have maybe the best broadcast team in all of television in the entire league. But people don't tune in when the Mets have won 30 games because they stink, and there's other things to engage with.
And so what I would say is on whatever station the Mets are on that morning show, they probably don't go on and say, God, I wish we had that fishing show on last night instead of the Mets.
Oh, I think that if at the end of the season you could say, say Stan Feinberg was on, you could say, I wish Stan was on last night instead of that crap. Yeah, I absolutely
could. But if they suck for the whole season and they're essentially out of it.
Yeah, that's when you would say it. Yeah.
So the time of year factors in, like when it's
yeah, absolutely. It's the end of the season.
Course.
Yeah, if the Bruins could still make the playoffs, you'd watch. Even if there was like a kid, like a.
Well, there are kids now that
not anyone.
Allegedly, you're going to be watching.
Allegedly, I mean, third, fourth. Lucky if you get a third liner in there, and I'm not, and that's the truth. Jason, thank you. What can I do? What can I tell you? Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Fred. Two things here. The first thing, you turn on NESN last night, and they're playing the Red Sox. They bumped the Bruins with 4 games left to NESN Plus instead of game 11 of 162. And then my second point is really a question. Can you play "Shook Me All Night Long" this morning?
All right, very good.
The bumping of the Bruins is not a surprise because the Red Sox own NESN, so the owners own NESN, so they're going to have their product on NESN and the Bruins on NESN Plus.
But John, if you were making the broadcast decision based on eyeballs, what would you have done last night?
I'd go Red Sox.
Why?
Sure, because it's a regular season game and there's still something to play for.
Yes, I mean we're now getting down to just.
Answering what the caller called in for.
But yeah, of course. But you said they're on NESN Plus because the Bruins own the Red Sox. But the point is that you would rather watch the Red Sox right now than the Bruins at this point in the season because there's a chance, I don't know, that the Red Sox could win more games than they lose. And you're not rooting for them to lose if you're truly a fan.
But if it was a regular season game and the Bruins were still in it,
yes, then I would.
The Red Sox would still be.
No, I know,
the
but the programming decision would be vilified. You'd get people pissed off. Every year that the Bruins are in the playoff chase and they're on NESN Plus, we get calls from people that are pissed off, and I think that's a dumb broadcasting move. The Bruins can make the playoffs. You put the Bruins on the big network. The Bruins are making nothing. Hey. The Bruins put this station on the map in 2011.
If it's a playoff game, then they flip it.
No, I understand.
Regular season games.
Dude, I've lived here since 2006. I'm aware of what they do. I know this. I'm just saying that it makes sense programming-wise to put the Red Sox on in this situation. Corey, go ahead.
Hey, guys, I got to agree with Fred here. The reason why people connect with Joe, people connect with Fred is because they're authentic. And part of that is being critical of the team when they deserve it. And, gentlemen, if you're not authentic, you're going to find yourself bragging about dailies and competing with Eve 6 on radio time. So, just hang in there.
All right.
Okay. We all speak, I think, across the board on the radio station. Maybe Zone not so much with the Patriots. But for the most part, all very critical. I mean, to their detriment sometimes in the afternoon, like overly critical of all these things. This was specific to something that's on our radio station that, Fred, you said nobody is listening to.
Yes.
And nobody wants to listen to.
Right.
And to me, that doesn't feel right. I know what you're saying, and while it's accurate, I'm sure like the numbers are down at this time of year. Still, it doesn't make sense to me, business-wise, relationship-wise, just in an environment when we're all working toward the same thing. To say it out loud over and over and over again, where it's like, obviously there's less interest in the team right now, but it's not something that you have to like hammer home and say, yeah, God, I wish I didn't have to listen to this.
Well, it was your reaction that made me hammer it home. It was I was curious into why you two reacted, and then I asked Adam, and when Adam tripled down on it, then I went, oh, maybe I'm wrong, and then that's why. And then we got a big segment out of it.
Yeah,
and we didn't even have the right Joe audio.
I love it.
I think
we didn't have the right Joe audio,
Yeah,
so
it
I kind of.
time,
If you think about it, I saved the day.
Freddie T.
No. Yes, you saved the day, and people like you. Yeah,
that's what I want. Well,
you didn't step in the program.
I don't like going out of my way to put people in awkward positions.
I was putting Joe in a glorious position.
Joe, yes. Everyone else, not so much.
But it has nothing to do with anyone else.
It does have,
except for the team. The Bruins. The Bruins are to blame.
Ryan, that's all it is.
I mean, you could put Howard Stern in his prime calling a single A baseball game in the second game. No one's going to listen to it. David, go ahead.
All right. So I agree that you're technically accurate. But what you're doing is you're insulting the people that work on the show, work on the broadcast. You're telling them that they don't mean anything. Like, your work as a sound engineer, your work as a broadcaster is irrelevant because
wait. The sound engineer of a hockey broadcast thinks that the quality of their audio will bring a audience in if the team is bad.
Audience, but that it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant if the team is bad.
It's not going to bring an audience, but that's
well, it has to be on the air because they have to run the commercials.
So is Nick irrelevant if Fred doesn't show up?
No, because the other two guys can handle the show. If whoever does the
he's
show,
trying to do his job, and what you're saying is, who cares how good the broadcast? If it was good, if the team's good, they'll listen. If they don't, they won't.
No,
you're just kind of insulting the people that work on your station.
No, you said all of that. I didn't. I said when the team is this bad at the end of the season, no one is listening. You put all these other words into it and all these other qualifiers into it. If you think the sound engineer of the broadcast gives a rat's ass if anyone's listening to the fourth to the last game of the season in New Jersey on a Tuesday night, I got news for you. You're out of your mind. That guy doesn't care. They have to put it on the air. He's going to care if they go off the air. Do you think Ryan gives a rat's ass at this point in the season?
I will tell you this. Grandy and Max had a Sunday night game against Washington. This is actually going to back Fred's point up. And remember, we played this on the air.
No, it's not.
We played this
because they still have something to do. They still have work left in the season. And they know there will be ears and there will be an audience. For Ryan, if he wants to be inspired to still call a good game just because he has pride in his work, hearing something like this or accepting that this sentiment is out there probably doesn't sit well with him.
Oh, nonsense. I know Ryan better than you. There's no way Ryan would think that. He's been in radio for 50 years. He knows what the hell is going on.
Do you think it feels good as a broadcaster to hear that no one's listening to you and you wish something else was on the radio?
I think that if you are calling a team that this bad, that you go, yeah, this sucks. No, first of all, I'm happy I have the job, but yeah, I realize that the team not playing well is that no one's listening at this point in the season.
But
yes.
I wouldn't like hearing that. I wouldn't like someone, reinforcing some doubt that I had that the work I was doing was inconsequential.
Well, now you're saying that you would take it as your work being inconsequential at this time of year. Yeah, your work is sort of inconsequential. Yes,
well, that's not great to hear. It's not a great feeling to have.
With 4 games left. Oh, please. I can't crawl into Brian's brain, but I can tell you it wouldn't offend me. At all. I wouldn't think of it like that at all.
And we're talking and again, we're talking about different people, normal people, how they feel and react to things.
Right. And that's why I gave you the guys the opportunity and I indulged this, is because I thought maybe I was wrong. But now I know I was.
In your head, I know you don't think you are.
No, I don't. Yeah. And some people agree, and I'm sure some people don't.
Right.
But that's the thing, is that I was just curious if it was my brain. But now
all the crazy bad people agree with you.
Right.
And all the nice normal people agree with
of all the things. We could have talked about, I guarantee if we were talking about the Bruins, we wouldn't have gotten 4 phone lines. That I can assure you.
Tell them all to hold for Jaffe when he's here at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Blind Scott finally sent a funny email, but I won't read it. That is funny that we are having Jaffe on at 9 to discuss this nonsense. Yeah. Maybe you can go, Billy, get to know the prospects in the draft. That's what we'll be attacking today.
A quick email from Sam. If you were to tell Billy Jaffe, hey, great podcast, too bad no one listens to it, how is that not being a dick?
Because he does the podcast.
The fact that Fred is digging in is wild to me. This is what he wrote.
Digging in. There's digging in. Digging in assumes that you've been cornered and now you're just flailing around. I mean, we have different opinions on it. I feel my opinions have been stated are valid. You might not agree with them, but this isn't something where we're debating a fact I've been proven wrong about, like a fact, right? Mm-hmm. Like, 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily equal 1 or 2. It can equal 1, 2 clouds. But like you're like it's some lot like gravity, right? Like we're not and I said gravity's not real because helium balloons, and you went and then it's obvious I'm wrong, and I'm like trying to get out of it, right?
Right.
It is just a matter of opinion.
So you're not taking it.
I don't digging in.
Now we're going to argue about
I'm at the
digging
wrong.
in.
Maybe this is the wrong time to bring
John,
this up.
you son of a bitch, you stupid idiot.
Headline.
God, are you dumb? One thing we can all agree on is how dumb you are.
I see.
All right, some guy blew his leg out trying to do a layup. We will talk about that in just a moment.
Boston sports.
And I have had many offers becoming insider. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. All right. It's the Atlanta Hawks. You know, during the timeouts, they do these big time contests. Was it UMass where they didn't want to give the kid the $10,000 when he hit the half-court shot?
Yeah, that's right.
And then and we said on the air, why the hell wouldn't you just give the kid the money?
He had his foot on the line or something when he made the half-court shot.
Because you get insurance on those things, and maybe the insurance wouldn't have paid it out. But you're a state institution. Just give the kid $10,000. I mean, is it worth the PR not to take the hit? But this is a contest, and so Adam, this is the in-stadium announcer.
This is the in-stadium, courtside announcer person that does the hits and all that.
Okay, so Hawks games, to give you some kind of information, they're in Atlanta, so no one cares. And this is, I'm not speaking out of school. No one cares.
People don't show up.
Which is weird because you would think Atlanta would be a huge NBA market because it's this huge black entertainment mecca, right?
They keep giving Atlanta teams, and no one shows up to them, and they keep losing teams. Two hockey teams.
My dad and I got tickets in the row right in front of the floor seats for a Hawks game, and my dad was pretty excited because he'd never had seats that good before. And Hawks dancers came and started dancing in front of us. Hardy doesn't know this story. They start dancing in front of us, and then play starts, and they're still dancing, and music is still playing.
Oh, no.
And my father just looks at me like, why? Why are they still dancing? They keep people are so uninvested in the game that the entertainment just keeps going. But anyway, this happened at the Phillips Arena now.
Then tick, tack, go!
All right, so the guy's running around. He's got to make layups.
It's a layup contest, tic-tac-toe. So you make a layup, you get either an X or an O. After you make the layup, you have to run back to midcourt and lay down your X or O on the tic-tac-toe board.
Then tick, tack, go! Oh! James! Oh, no! Hold on! Let's make sure my guy is good!
All right, so the guy collapsed.
Yeah, he's not good.
What happened was the guy ran down the floor to make the layup and blew out his knee on the way there. So he is huddled up in the fetal position underneath the basket.
First layup.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you are the in-stadium announcer, and you have to fill a whole minute of time.
So there's a guy at the other end of the court running back and forth,
making
doing his
layups,
thing.
dropping his X's down. Sure.
But poor James just collapses in a heap attempting his first shot.
Right. Okay. And so you might go, okay, call off the contest, give the pizza to the other guy, and let's move on.
Maybe give them both a pizza.
Yeah. Everyone gets a pizza. I don't know what huge prize was on the line here, but you figure that maybe you just go, let's get some medical people out here and end it. But this is how it was handled.
Oh, no! Hold on! Let's make sure my guy is good! Oh, man. Well, it's not really a fair game at this point. James!
Yeah, stop talking. Now just stop talking. Your commentary is not at all necessary for this.
But if the commentary is good.
James!
Not really a fair game at this point.
Yeah, it's not a fair game, as he is going to require surgery and months of rehab.
Well,
and I'm not sure of the liability on all of this, but how
she's
covered
calling
are
out
we?
the players' names like a good play-by-play person should.
James!
Oh, I thought she was saying dang.
Well, she's saying both. This is
James!
And then there's
James!
Yeah, I can't tell the difference.
Can you just wait? Can you just be kind and come over here with me and check on James? Dog, Des, we know you won, but okay. Turn around. Okay, we gonna check on him, but I mean.
All right, so this guy's lying on a heap on the floor, but this woman feels like she needs to present this. You talk about being beholden to the sponsors. This whole if I'm the sponsor, I'm saying stop it now. Stop it now. Yeah. We'll do this. We'll make up for this next year. I don't. And everyone get a nice rack of ribs. At Sam's Barbecue, where you eat them right off the bone. The man
We're gonna check on him.
has just hemorrhaged. The man whose leg is just snapped in half. Everyone enjoy free chicken wings at Magic City.
I don't.
We have a little bit of a delay here, and you can see the reason why.
All right, this is afterwards. This is when the TV broadcast came back.
Now the TV broadcast has to deal with it.
Yeah.
Now they have to improvise.
We have a little bit of a delay here, and you can see the reason why. A fan went in for a layup, lost his footing, and landed on his back and shaken up.
So they can't even start the game because the guy is lying on the ground and he can't be moved.
Yeah, maybe they'll describe it here. They bring out the stretcher for him.
Oh yes,
Yes.
He cannot put any weight on this leg.
Seriously injured. This guy.
This man is requiring surgery.
The players, by the way, laughing.
Yeah,
they're pointing. They're smiling. You can see them on the bench, like describing to each other what happened. They love it.
But it's a shame for the guy because it's not like the guy did anything wrong. He just was moving and it just was this freak thing. It just happened at the worst time.
Yeah.
But in his mind, he's just thinking, for this humiliation, someone's giving me money. I'm the one who truly won this contest.
So every precaution taken by the experts here at State Farm Arena, so they're going to get him taken care of. And we both can speak to how good they are at what they do.
Young man being wheeled off the floor, and that's kind of unfortunate, kind of lost his footing.
It's kind of unfortunate.
It's not. It's not the worst thing ever, but
yeah, it's a little unfortunate. Let's not overblow things.
Kind of unfortunate, kind of lost his footing.
Yeah, we can't. We can't play the NBA game because the man in the tic-tac-toe contest is lying prone and injured.
Yeah, that guy's on a stretcher. Dang.
Nice round of applause as the young man heads to the back to get checked out. Back to business here, second quarter.
Yeah. So here's my advice. If you're the in-game announcer and someone falls and is not getting up, just turn the mic off and live for another day. Just let it go.
For the Hawks.
Right.
Yeah.
Let it go. Let it go. Let it be. All right.
What was that? Who did that song "Laid" in the '90s? It's better.
James.
James.
Thank you.
There you go. Very good. All right. We will be back in just a moment. The wonderful Chris Forsberg will be joining us.
You're listening.
Tatum for their 33rd road win of the season last night, 119-117 in overtime over the Knicks. Tatum had to hit a three-pointer with 2.9 seconds left in regulation to force bonus time, but the Green now have to turn around and play again tonight in Orlando. Grandy and Max have the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. And other NBA news, Denver fired head coach Michael Malone and GM Calvin Booth with less than a week to go in the regular season. The Bruins had 7 different goal scorers in a 7-2 win in New Jersey over the Devils. David Pastrnak a goal and 2 assists. Morgan Geekie a goal and an assist. The Bruins have 3 games left. They're home tomorrow night to play Chicago. Red Sox lost again to Toronto 6-1 at Fenway Park. Garrett Crochet was fine for Alex Cora until the 6th inning when he allowed 4 runs, 3 of which were unearned, and took a tough loss.
He did a good job. Tough conditions. George hit the homer, then we don't make plays, and that was it. But he did more than enough. Yeah, did a good job.
Bo Bichette had 3 hits and 3 RBIs for the winners. The 2 teams will continue their 4-game series at Fenway Park tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Albrecht Auto Group, Zoe's Auto Dealer. Get respect at Albrecht, now 8 locations, including the all-new Subaru of Wakefield. Thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles, all at the right price at albrechtauto.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
What's the best way to listen to Toucher and Hardy?
Well, you're going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Yeah, and obviously playing here, it's always very fun. To hear the fans are super into the game, and they love the Knicks, and I enjoy it.
Are you ready to hijack the conversation?
Let's just get into it right now. How many drafts are you in? Where's the action? What are you doing?
I am not. I have played some small wagers, make cut, miss cut. The fun stuff. But it's a great week. I don't normally watch the Wednesday, Tuesday action, but
yeah, you know what? And Fred yesterday asked me something about the hole-in-one thing or the caddies taking shots on the par 3. Silly stuff.
It's amazing.
That's today, right?
Well, now you're disagreeing.
That's today.
Because you just said, Chris, it's amazing, and Hardy was saying that it's stupid.
He just said, but he said he didn't watch it though.
No, but I was saying, oh yeah, they do a caddy thing, and Hardy was like, "You stupid prick."
Right.
I think might have been right around what you said, and you said it with love, but then you think it's amazing, Chris.
I just think it sets the table for what is a magical golf week, and
then you two have a big butting of heads here because Hardy thinks it's nonsense. And you think it sets the tone.
Oh, but
which is it? Which is it, you two?
Well,
you can see I'm very jealous of you liking each other. What is it? Which one? Take a side.
I don't like seeing the kids out there caddying for their dads because that's something my kids would never agree to do.
So jealousy is what this is.
There's a jealousy factor.
My kids would never.
Don't want the kids.
My son might do it.
I try.
Don't want the kids besmirching the course. I understand.
I told my son, that'd be a great summer job for you. Is get you on as a caddy somewhere. But he's like, I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, well, I would teach you. You could go out and we could play a few holes, and you can caddy for me. And that's when the idea, if he thought it was bad before, he really hated the idea then. I'm like, fine, go work at the pool if you can.
Oh, children don't like money? Come on. To bring the conversation full circle, when you guys were playing the audio of the Hawks halftime debacle there, Tony Finau makes the hole-in-one last year or a couple years ago, and then dislocates his ankle or whatever trying to run to the green. That wasn't a great moment, but I think he played the whole weekend on that bad ankle afterwards.
Yeah.
Well, I showed Hardy. I said, what is the highest score ever from a professional golfer? And it was 138 or something. It was something crazy. And a guy had made the cut at a tournament, a professional tournament, and it was at the late 70s or early 80s. He had like dislocated his like arm.
Yeah, like he lost his arm in a car accident driving away from the course on a Friday.
He got in a car accident and he like smashed apart one of his arms, but he wanted to qualify for like whatever exemptions you get, and he had made the cut, so he played around one-handed with a wedge. What was like a wedge and a 7-iron. And he played one-handed, and he shot like 138 or something.
I saw a guy do that one year at the Mass Open. I think it was at Oak Hill, and a guy hurt his hand in the middle of the round. I was walking around following someone else, but he was
Open.
At the Mass Open.
Huh.
Yeah.
What year was this? Was that last year?
The year it was at Oak Hill. Look it up, John. It's like you probably know.
My mistake.
And
Sorry.
the guy hurt his wrist in the middle of the round, and he kept trying to play. And to his credit, he only tried like 2 shots. But then the other people that were in his group saying, like, dude, you got to stop. You're gonna end up like really, really hurting yourself.
Or really hurting us with this pace of play. Yeah. Is what they were more concerned about. Did you have a favorite golfer?
Just put the ball all the way home. You know, right? Like
like Barney Rubble style, as I always say.
Exactly.
Mr. Slade, he was caddying for Fred.
But Fred had a good question. Do you have a favorite player?
Do you have a favorite player as we get into Masters weekend, Chris?
A favorite golfer? Oh, you know what? I think I do love the sort of redemption arc for Bryson DeChambeau and how he's become super popular on YouTube and represents another generation of golfers. I think he's infused a little fun into the sport.
DeChambeau is infused fun.
He's infused steroids, is what he's infused.
No, he's infused. He's infused
natural.
nonsense.
Yeah,
even I know he's boring.
You guys hate
sport.
fun. You hate fun.
He's not fun.
Testing the wind.
He is like the analytics guy. He is the Red Sox hitting coach telling Jim Rice to get away from his player version of a golfer. That's what he is. He's analytics. He's paralysis by analysis.
Doesn't he test the humidity before shots and things of that nature?
Yeah.
That's after he gained 50 pounds in one calendar year. He was all muscle.
You didn't love hitting the ball over his house? I love that little series on Instagram.
Go watch the par 3 contest later today, you child.
If I'm watching Instagram, you better be bringing the boom.
If you wanted to...
Boom!
Bring the boom!
That's all I want to say.
Bryson DeChambeau gets 5 big booms. Boom! Boom!
No, the Rizzler gets 5 big booms.
Boom! Did you do the little Rizzler face thing?
That's when they said sorry that your sister died.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms.
The best is the cut footage of the dad instructing the kid in a frustrated fashion to get in line.
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
Yeah.
Action.
So it's more relatable than funny.
No, we're here with Jay Kind of Funny. No, we're here with Jay Kind of Funny first. Okay.
We're here with Jay Kind of Funny.
And this is Boom. All right. We're here with Jay Kind of Funny.
Okay.
It's Big Justice. Why are you calling him Eric? It's Big Justice. He likes Pokemon cards. It's funny.
Yeah, don't pull the curtain back.
It's funny.
If you want a redemption story, I would say Brooks Koepka is probably a more likable redemption story than Bryson DeChambeau. Plus, Bryson didn't really have to redeem himself all that much. Brooks looked like maybe he was done for a while, and then he came back and started playing great again. So
Right, but there was the Brooks Bryson feud, and I think a lot of people sided with Brooks as if they thought Bryson's act was a little tired, and I think it just took people time to realize that I think Bryson's good for the game and good for where it's going. But yeah, I like Brooks too. Brooks could use a good finish in a tournament. I don't think he's been up.
See, this is
lately.
what's funny about you guys is that it's interesting to me that you love watching a sport, but yet you have no rooting interest. Like in every other athletic activity, there's like a team that you're rooting for. It's like you two and most golf fans.
The sport,
just like watching golf. It's so odd to me.
Yeah, I said this the other day as a joke, but then I realized it was kind of true. I root for the golf course. I like Augusta to rear its head and those greens to speed up over the weekend. Oh, some of those hole locations, not pin placements. Again, this is the lexicon at Augusta. Just get diabolical, and I like to see.
There's very many blue laws on hole location in the state of Georgia.
I love seeing those guys knock it in the drink on 12. Doesn't matter who it is.
Have you ever fantasized, either one of you, about playing that course? And how do you think you do?
You're not a golfer unless you do. So if no one would break 100 who isn't a real golfer, pro golfer. I refuse to believe.
Oh, God, no. I mean, I saw an interview with Marco Mira. They asked him a 15 handicap. How would a 15 handicap do on that course?
110.
Yeah, he said you would have to play out of your mind to break 100.
It's the
greens. The greens would just destroy you.
Yeah, you
like
can't.
no one's ready for that sort of slope and speed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right. Well, look, I mean, it's fun, I guess, to just passively watch a green.
Well, Fred,
Watch grass.
we do root for it. So whoever you like, maybe I have some action on the round one leader, and so I'll have a rooting interest today as I watch.
You're rooting to make money. You're gambling. You're rooting like you're basically just like watching the stock market.
Like someone who isn't a golf fan would do.
Even if I didn't have money, I would just be. I don't know. There's just something about it. I don't know. Maybe it's the time of year. I get this way for all of them. Like the British Open as a kid
So it's not the time of year because you get it for all of them.
Well, I think there's varying levels, but the Masters does bring out the geeking in me.
Chris and Hardy, this major is far more
Your
pretentious.
mustache brings out the
far more
geeking in you.
pretentious
Thank you. I
than any
appreciate
of the
that.
other majors. This major is far more pretentious than any of the other majors. Correct?
No.
You don't think this one's more pretentious?
It's pretentious.
The British Open.
Really?
Yeah, maybe the British Open. Well, the reason the Masters is funny because it's in such a dumpy garbage place and it's like so racist and horrible. But it's tickly pianos and all this nonsense. That's funny. But the Open is a place where I think that they let dogs run on the course during the regular time of year, and then all of a sudden it's sacred ground. Golf is funny because of the pretentiousness of it. That is funny. Tennis is kind of the same way, but no one plays anymore. No offense to Dunlap, but no one really plays tennis anymore. Everyone's got going pickleball crazy.
We had that guy from the WTA send us all that stuff. Fred, you want to apologize to him now because I think you should.
I'm sorry to offend you, sir. Even though we couldn't figure out what it was for 2 months until you explained it. It's street tennis that will take off like wildfire. But golf has that pretense to it that is so funny, and it's cosplaying at a local level too, like because there is this because someone decided that golf was going to be this way, like it was going to be treated as like this gentleman's game. And then, like robots and lemmings, like people for the last 2 centuries have, tried to implement this blueprint. And it doesn't matter if you're like in a suburb outside of, Raleigh, North Carolina. There's going to be someone pretending that they're, playing at St. Andrews. It is funny.
It's slowly evolving. Now we're seeing hoodies on the golf course and stuff like that. I do agree. I think the one thing that turns me off from golf in general is that pretentious nature and like the I don't want to say they're unwritten. They're written, like what you can wear in a clubhouse and all that. That's why I stray towards the municipals and cheap because I'm cheap too.
Financial, yes.
Yeah, but like I do wish they'd start breaking down some of those barriers. No one wants to wear a collared shirt when it's 12 degrees outside, or
no one wants to wear a collared shirt in order to eat. That's another thing.
What do you choose to eat in?
When I'm wearing at work, it would be nice on the way home to be able to go to that place and eat some of my minimum meals, but you have to have a collared shirt on.
Oh, you keep one in the car.
On a nice 38-degree day, you keep it in, keep it in
question,
the car.
Would they just tackle you if you walked in without a collared shirt?
No, they would be a pain in the ass, and they would say something. I can assure you that.
Is there anybody that walks in without a collared shirt that you're thinking, he's getting away with not wearing the attire?
Well, you know me. I'm a big stickler. I would be all over him. Nothing would offend me more, and I'm sure I'd notice it too. I'm sure that if I'm so paying attention to others, I would be right on top of it. You're not supposed to wear a hat, which is pretty funny.
Take your hat off when you go inside. We all do that.
Which is funny because you're wearing as we all have hats. But it's funny because you'll have been playing in a hat for 4 hours and, at 90-degree weather, and then you got to take the hat off.
Right.
And there's females there, and you don't want to look horrible.
You knew all these rules when you joined, though.
Who knows what I knew at the time?
Good point. Fair,
different man, different time.
fair point.
Yeah.
And it wasn't presented to me this way. There's the way that the club is. There's the way that the club is.
We're real laid back here. And,
Well, there are parts of every club that are very laid back, but then there's the general rule. There are two wildly differing things. There's things that are presented as the way the club is, and then there's a way that at certain places that affluent people act when unrestrained by wandering eyes.
Gotcha.
We all know that.
Yes.
Now I do not.
Fred, will you go over to the club this week to watch a little bit of the Masters? If
I don't have one friend there, if you can believe it or not.
That would seem to be a problem.
This is shocking information.
Yeah. I like people there, but I don't stay in touch with any of them. I played golf 2 times.
Let me take over the payments. Paulie,
I told you can.
Paulie with Rocky's Trans Am style. I'll just take over the payments, transfer the membership to me.
Okay.
I asked. I did ask somebody there.
Okay. Yes, you can do that.
I don't think they allow that.
You owe $4,100
for this month.
For this month in dues. It's not that every month, but for some reason.
Oh, the quarter?
Yeah, whatever. No, I don't know if it might be a third. I don't know.
Boy, oh boy.
Or maybe it's half. I don't know. It's something. All I know is that this one, the last one was like $300. This one's $4,100. Yeah, and it's coming at a great time. I like popping that right in April. Giving that to you right in April.
No other checks going out in April?
No. Just put that as close to April 15th as you can. Give me the big bill right at April 15th.
Yeah.
Because that's when I get my big check from the government. All right.
Fred, you can come join my clubs. Not nearly the ransom that you're paying now. Come to Raceway, Harrisville, Melody Hill, all part of the.
Well, I don't even belong to like what's considered like a very exclusive club. I mean, it's just convenient to where I live. But it was a mistake. Not that it's a bad club, but it was a mistake by me. It was done under different financial situations.
You had good intentions.
The luxury of which I'm not indulging in. I use the gym. See, I use the gym I belong to all the time, even if it's for, I like the sauna and the cold plunge and stuff. The club has nothing I want.
You're a cold plunge guy?
Oh,
Jesus.
Well.
Save it for the other side.
Am I? Well, it's interesting.
We'll talk next week when I'm in there. We can do some.
Because I wouldn't say I'm a cold plunge guy as I am a wonder and an anomaly. I am someone who is given, and I'm not kidding here. I'm speaking in a way in that sounds like I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm looked upon with awe and wonder. You're laughing as if I'm joking, and I swear to God this is true.
They go, Freddie's about to get in the tub. Let's all gather around.
No, that's silly. Shut up. Listen. What happens is I get in the tub. Other guys will enter the tub. They'll go, Jesus Christ, leave the tub, then stand, marvel, and ultimately, if they have the balls, ask me how long you been in. I say 5 minutes. And they go, how do you do it? And I go, born with it. Don't know. What I'll say is something like humble, like, well, you should see me in the sauna. I find it very difficult.
Do you think this speaks to your greater overall numbness and impenetrability?
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that I've numbed down my neurons to the degree that they're very loose. There's not a lot of sharp edges. You're not getting a cut going in there. All right, Chris Forsberg, we can talk about this. For some reason, it's very controversial, Jill, and we will talk about that, and that's it. Because I can't think of anything else, but I'm sure John has some things.
Tons.
3 games last night.
I did.
So, leave it to him. All right, so we'll be back in just one moment. So there you go, Joe Mazzulla. A lot of truth to that statement. Very good. Chris Forsberg is joining us. He is from NBC Sports Boston. All right. People are complaining about Jaylen Brown. Explain everything to me. Talk to me like I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so I would say over the last month or so, he's been dealing with some knee issues and, took a couple games off and has tried to come back from it and hasn't quite looked himself. He is kind of openly admitted, which you don't hear players often do, kind of be open and honest about that he's experiencing pain. And when people hear that, they say, well, then why are you out there? His explanation has been that he wants to kind of figure out how to work through this and that he's not going to feel 100% during the playoffs. And so he's had good nights, 31 points last week. It looked like he was a little bit more himself. And then last night he was really bad. And so there's some consternation about whether he's playing because he wants to hit the 65 game threshold that would make him award eligible. Unfortunately, no one can quite knows if it's just, can he make this worse, or is it just he needs to kind of figure out and use some game time to learn how he needs to play in the postseason? But it's clear he's not 100% Jaylen Brown. And when you think about the only thing that can really hinder the Celtics in the playoffs is not being at full health, it's probably the one thing that will leave Celtics fans a little leery heading into the postseason.
Is there a financial incentive for him to be award eligible?
No, and it's weird, right? Like, so when you're on your rookie deal, you need all NBA to help trigger a higher maximum. He's already signed his extension.
Right.
I don't believe there's any extent. There may be like
entirely ego driven. This is what you're
somewhat, saying. It could be. But Fred, like the thing we don't know that and like he's been asked about it and says that it's not important to him, but you got to take him at face value at that. I do think there's something to the idea that when we talk about a player, what do we say? It's two-time All-NBA and but I think the first thing is two-time NBA champion. Right. And so I think he just needs to balance what's the most important thing. And I do hope that if rest is the best opportunity to get him feeling good, that he embraces it over the final, because these next 3 games mean nothing. And then they got a whole nother week after that with the play. And there is a chance to really ramp him down if he'll agree to do it. It just comes down to the balance of does this court time help him figure out how he's going to have to navigate the playoffs with this injury? Or would it be better to just put him in a cold plunge tub and allow him to rest?
Well, ease him into it. Don't go crazy.
What?
Yeah.
Don't go 6 minutes right away.
What you know about this knee injury, do you think giving it a week off will change things or not?
They've called it a bruise at first, but a bruise that just, I don't know if it just hasn't had the opportunity to heal. We won't know these things probably till after the season if he has to have something cleaned up in there or what's going on. He definitely doesn't have the sort of explosion that we've come to expect from Jaylen Brown going to the basket and some of those loud dunks and finishes that he does around the basket. But he's talked about watching a lot of Paul Pierce tape lately and trying to figure out how you do more of the slow pace and take advantage of space. And so, I think he's trying to figure out how to navigate this. The one thing I would say is that when you think about the biggest games of the season, they're still 2 months away. So if you're lucky enough to be there, and you just got to kind of balance this out. Is he helping the team when he's on the court? Last night he was not helping the team, and they probably wisely made the decision to keep him on the bench through the fourth quarter and into overtime. And Jaylen's just going to have to figure out what that balance is moving forward.
I'm wondering on this back-to-back, because they're in Orlando tonight, who is going to play? Horford obviously is going to, but I would bet Kristaps Porzingis won't. They've been talking about Drew Holiday, and he hasn't played back-to-backs. And, these 3 games don't mean anything, and I don't think Jaylen Brown's going to play tonight. Who's going to show up tonight?
I don't even know how many guys got – I'd be interested to know what the travel roster was last night of how many guys actually wanted to go to Orlando. Maybe with all the cold temperatures in Boston, guys wouldn't mind 24 hours there. But if I was the Celtics, I would have sent all the starters home. I would turn this one over to the Baylor Shiremans of the world and say, hey, the last 3 games, you guys are going to get a ton of opportunity. Don't know what your role is going to be after that into the playoffs, but go have some fun. Help the Celtics set this road record, match the Warriors mark from 2015-16. and just rest guys to the finish line. Last year, the pattern was the Celtics did not play much of their veterans over the last 2 games on that Friday-Sunday split, so I don't think you'll see a lot of guys versus Charlotte. But tonight, even, potential first-round opponent, I don't know if there's much value in showing anything. So turn it over to the young guys. Let Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, those guys all feel good. Peyton Pritchard should be eager to make one last impression before everyone votes for 6th man. And so I think that could promote a better brand of basketball than trying to force your starters back out there on the second night of a back-to-back coming off an overtime game.
Hauser continues to be an interesting guy to watch, like, sporadically. Last night, he was literally forgotten about and ignored when Tatum found him on the inbound pass, and he had a layup alone underneath the basket, I think, to retake the lead or tie the game again or something. So I agree with you, Chris. Like, playing guys like that is definitely smarter than showing them anything else with with something closer to your starting lineup. I just don't want people to remember that Sam Hauser is out there and can actually play a little bit.
Yeah, and I think the goal at the finish line of any season, especially with role players, is to have everybody feeling pretty confident. And these games are a chance. If you can get Peyton Pritchard a 20-plus point game, it sounds crazy, but it sends you into the postseason with a little bit of momentum. And Sam's been really good. He's battled that back all season and missed a lot of time early in the year with it would flare one night and he just wouldn't be himself. But he's really turned a corner there. He was super important last year. You got to be able to space the floor, knock down threes in this offense. And so if you're going to lean on that stay ready group for any stretch of time, and their minutes are going to invariably come down a little bit in the postseason, but they've been good. They've impacted winning in a positive way. Like, you want them feeling good. And so, let Luke and Sam and Peyton and everybody get those reps. And, maybe some good can come of that when they get called on in the postseason. Invariably, there's going to be a Luke Cornett game. There might be a Sam game. Like, we say this every year and we laugh about it, but then there's the Leon Poe game, the Big Baby game. Like, there's always an opportunity for one of these guys to impact the title run.
All right, the Pistons have kind of locked themselves into the 6 in the East, and the Knicks, unless something drastically changes, are in the Celtics playoff path in the second round. I am really unimpressed by the Knicks. I have been all season. The Celtics just swept the season series last night. Do you think the Knicks, and it looks like the Knicks are going to play Detroit in the first round, do you think Detroit has a chance to knock them off? Because I certainly do.
Yeah, absolutely. I am fascinated by that Detroit team. I think you could see them starting to turn a corner. I mean, you could always see what Cade was going to be, and it was just baffling how they didn't quite put it together, especially last season with all the losses. But it changes quickly in the NBA, and when you sort of hit that point where guys are ready, they're probably another season away from being truly competitive on a playoff stage. But the Knicks got a lot of little areas of deficiencies. Like, you can take advantage of them defensively. I think the Celtics have proven that. I think if nothing else, I think Detroit can really push that team in round one. When it looked like the Bucks might be the 6th seed, like the Knicks having to deal with Giannis would have been a nightmare for them. If nothing else, I think one of those two teams will loosen up the Knicks a little bit. I think they're going to have to work to get through round one. Whereas, I don't know if the Celtics will necessarily have to expend as much to get through round one, regardless of who's on the other side. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of Celtics Pistons talk on this program, and not just because of Fred and Hardy, but these teams. I
don't care about the Pistons. No, I didn't like them. Nah, I didn't like them when I was a kid.
Why?
I like the Lakers. I like Magic, East Lansing guy. I like them. I was a real front runner.
Don't
Hardy's the Pistons.
Don't try and crawl inside that head. It's you're gonna have to understand how somebody is a Jets, Cardinals, Lakers.
I wasn't like I didn't go to games, and I went to Piston games. I mean I liked the Lakers when I was a little kid.
You didn't save up your lawn mowing money and take a trip out to L.A. every year to go see the Lakers?
No, believe it or not.
What hockey teams did you root for, or did you?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. Well, my parents aren't from Detroit, so that will explain it. I had no other relatives. I had no allegiances to the city. But I did grow up there. All right, look, we haven't talked about it today, but what do you make of what happened in Denver? They fired their coach and their GM. This is a guy who won a championship a couple of years ago. This is a new thing in the NBA. firing recent championship-winning head coaches. It's an interesting dynamic because they had to. It's because they had to have told Jokic that they were doing it, and you would think that he wouldn't have liked it, but they did it. So what do you make of that? Are you hearing anything in NBA circles? What do you make of what happened?
I suspect the conversation was more like, look, we're not sure about Mike's long-term future. Jokic likes the assistant that they're promoting. He's been with him for like pretty much the totality of his career. I think that takes some of the sting out of it. And yet, if I'm Jokic, I'm a little bit. It feels like you're just kind of punting on the season, right? Like that. You just don't believe that this group has the ability. And I always thought, because they had won one, because they have Jokic, you always have a chance. Now, what the West is going to be brutal, and their pathway was going to be tough. But it just reeks of, like, all these moves just reek of desperation. And the Grizzlies kind of get a free pass now because they're like, well, we did it with 7 games left, instead of 4 or 3 or whatever the case may be. And so I don't love it. I think no year is promised. And, you can't promise. You can never know for sure if Jokic is going to be healthy going into a postseason. I know he's been super durable throughout his career. That's not like a Jokic thing. It's just like health is never promised in the NBA. Anytime you have a chance, you got to lean into it. And I don't know. You could have waited to the summer to do all these moves. I don't understand what teams think is the upside to moving now. Frustration tends to get in the way of clear-minded decisions.
Right. So I heard a guy from Denver talking about it yesterday, and his take was that Jokic has been demonstrative, whatever the hell I'm trying to say, upset on the sidelines, that they realize that this combination of their 4, core players is not sufficient, so they're going to have to make some kind of move. I mean, obviously around Jokic, but no one else is necessarily safe. They have to figure out the dynamics and what they're going to do and who they're going to trade. And that there was, obviously, as you know, there was that dynamic between the coach and GM about Westbrook and playing time and all that. So they, I guess that it wasn't completely a surprise. And the guy from Denver was like justifying it, like he was in favor of it.
I don't know.
No, I know. It was just interesting because you would think, like what you and I as observers, you think that that's crazy. Like the guy just won a championship. It's this late in the season. Why would you do it? But it was interesting hearing someone from the market justify it. Now, is that guy right? I have absolutely no idea. I don't know anything about it. But hearing him say it, and he was so like, just like he was just like, this is a fact. Like da 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 da. And he gave a bunch of million stats out, and like and it was interesting like hearing that in Denver at least it wasn't a shock. There's often a honeymoon period after a move where, I don't know, you suspect people are invigorated by change, and usually it fizzles quickly. And so I don't know if they're just banking on like, hey, we need a little spark to get to round 2. Maybe this gets guys going a little bit. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle a little bit. Like I can get the reasoning. I just think I don't think there's ever been a case where a desperation move has worked and put a team in position. But you know what? The NBA never ceases to surprise me. I thought the Luka trade, I thought nothing else would surprise me after the Luka trade. And here every week we have a team doing something stupid. Yeah, and Luka's in Dallas tonight, so that's going to be something else. All right, look, Chris Forsberg, you've learned so much today. You and Hardy, as many similarities as you have, you do have your differences. One of you likes the caddy part 3 thing.
When does the golf club start? This weekend?
See, I thought it would be because this is Masters weekend, but he says no, it's going to be a Masters recap in 10 days.
Am I on that program?
Yes. Okay. We'll set up the time next. We'll set up the time later today.
I thought the time would be when the show's on.
There's a lot going on with the show this year, Fred.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, it would be on 7 in the morning. He would be on 7 in the morning on Sunday.
Talk to his booking agent.
Okay, when did they film the Titanic? Well, 19 whatever, when it sunk. No, there are things that are done in the production process.
But what about the time between the interview with Chris and real-time golf? Like, if you talk to the assistant
there will be
pro,
room for live real-time interjections.
If you talk to the assistant pro at Crooked Tree in Revere.
At Sassafras Trail.
At Sassafras Trail.
Sassamon Trace, damn it.
And then there's like a murder on the course.
Yeah.
Between when you do the interview and when you play it. I mean, there's going to be egg on your face.
Well,
it's
no.
the danger of not being live.
They'll break in with breaking news during Felger and Maz or any other show that's on the station, and it'll be old news by the time we get to it on the Sports Hub Golf Club.
Fred, do you want to sit in on the production meetings to offer any more advice on how to make the golf club?
I fear it would be ignored. Is my main concern. All right, look, Chris.
We'll all get cold plunge tubs, and we'll sit there and we'll have a little meeting.
Now it sounds like you're just dismissing my ability to do it,
I'm not trying to.
Which is not going to be tolerated. All right.
I'm sorry.
Forsberg, get out of here before it gets ugly. All right, Chris Forsberg, everyone loves him.
See you, Chris.
NBC Sports Boston, we'll be back.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy.
in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
Any genre of, like, any era of music, but it is funny, like, how we all know, like, the music industry and entertainment industry, like, it's just a copycat thing. I'm not telling anything anyone doesn't know. Like, something's a hit, then everyone just jumps on. And if you look back at the 90s, like, some of the bands that were getting play on MTV and, like, on the radio and had major market pushes, it's insanity that they were pushed. Not that they were even bad bands at all.
That's part of what made it so great.
But they're, like, so out there.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, Primus Live are very difficult to watch. Now, I have a friend who Primus is their like a really good friend of mine whose Primus is their favorite band, and I get why.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why. But to most people, it's like someone could sit there and swear upon, like, Captain Beefheart, right?
Right.
And then, like, you're like, well, and they'll go, Captain Beefheart's a genius. And you go, well, okay, let's hear it. And then you're like, this is absolutely terrible.
It's insane, people.
But like, it's like the work of a madman.
Yeah.
And so, but people like, but there's one thing that it exists, and, like, Primus is a band, but it's another thing that they played multiple videos of their songs on MTV. And if you go back and listen to those songs, the structure is not there. There's, like, no structure to it.
There's no real hook to many of them.
No hook.
Yeah.
There's no melody.
There's no real melody.
There's no melody. They have a guy just riffing, like, and I shouldn't even say riffing, noodling.
Yeah.
Their guitar player, his whole point was to just freestyle over bass lines, and there was no structure. Very interesting that was a band.
You've seen them live, yes?
I don't think I have seen them live.
You've seen them, Hardy.
Yeah.
I've
seen them on on the internet live.
I agree with you. It's a tough show to sit all the way through, but it is mesmerizing. It's about I'm with you, Fred. I hate jam bands. I hate that whole thing.
Yeah.
But, so that's as jam band adjacent as I'll get, because there's a lot of people that are into jam bands. That,
Yeah, we're
like,
getting
Les
into, like, kind of the
Claypool and
weeds of if they're a good band or not, and that's not what I'm getting at. Kind of like I know what you're
understand
saying.
the point
What
that
I'm
you're
saying is that it's more of, like, just the era. It's not even.
Yeah.
It's an observation.
Which I'm saying is what I liked about it, because you had this great variety where, there was still some copycat. There were bands that got signed because they sounded like Nirvana for, like, the first 5 years of the decade. But then there were weirdo bands like Primus that got signed to multiple records and promoted over multiple singles and music videos. And, like, that's not something you'll see again.
What I'm saying is more of an observation than a critique. And what also would be a fun thing to explore in the summer when there's nothing is rap groups while you were working in alternative radio that you were allowed to play.
Oh, I'm writing that down
because
right now.
that is a
The
big
Beastie Boys.
like
That's it.
What will the white station play?
Oh wait, hold on. Who's this guy? Okay, Citizen King. He's kind of rapping over this song. Sounds like the Sublime guy. He's white too. We'll play him as well.
Because we could play Rage Against the Machine's Bombs Over Baghdad, but not Outkast Bombs Over Baghdad, even though we were in Atlanta.
We played the Dave Grohl Rob Zombie infused All About the Benjamins.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But not any other version. And then there were, like, some crossover ones. Do you remember Ice Cube and Korn?
No.
It's just okay.
I remember Rock Superstar. That was a terrible song.
Yeah, but we're gonna play the Ice Cube and Korn song because it's Korn.
Was that F Dying? Was that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
That was
not good.
Yeah.
Not good. But you played it because it was Korn.
Rage and Snoop Dogg. There was a crossover between
that
them.
Rage and Snoop Dogg was good.
That was a good one.
That's a good song.
Now, wouldn't you, if you were in Atlanta, and I thought this at the time, said to yourself, all right, look, the year is 2003.
Yeah.
This format is getting very stale.
You're talking about 99X, the alternative station.
I worked in Atlanta at 99X.
Yep.
Wouldn't you have
What
thought,
year?
let's say 2003, 2004, 2005.
Okay.
So, rough year for alternative music. The genre is dying.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have gone, all right, look, we are at the epicenter of this, like, massive, like, cultural movement that is happening, like, at our, like, fingertips. Like, we are immersed in it. Like, there is this very creative, right? This isn't like Mobb Deep are awesome, but, like, it's not like Mobb Deep bass and lyrics. This is like a a very fertile, like creative. I mean, CeeLo came out of it. Obviously,
Outkast,
Andre
yeah.
3000 came out of it. Like these guys that are like super, not even rap specific artists. Wouldn't you have just gone, let's take a chance and maybe developed a relationship with one of these groups? Because not with like, I didn't have the Outkast were before I even got there, but I became like friends with some of these like rap groups, friendly with some of these rap groups. And I'd be like, what are you doing? And then the ones that they would play were fascinating. Like, it was very interesting to me. They would play a black one, but you had to be entirely live instrumentally. El Puss, the album that I am so generously thanked on.
Or the Roots, probably. They played the Roots.
We were allowed to play the Roots. But like, there
okay.
had to be all live instruments. But if you were white, there had to be no live instruments. There was this thing. Like, we played the Black Eyed Peas. Why? They were terrible.
Yeah, they were bad.
But because there was a white chick in the band.
Right.
Like, it was very
You guys
interesting.
played Black Eyed Peas?
We did.
And remember too, like the first Black Eyed Peas album was like kind of like a straight up hip hop album.
Yes,
like,
it was
she
not-
wasn't in the band yet, and it was there were some decent songs on it. But then when they got Fergie, you're right, they went full on like pop, not even really hip hop anymore.
If the stations were going to do that, Fred, and this is what I don't know if they were able to articulate it or think about it this way at the time, but they were going to have to change like the entire mood and tone of the station, because all those stations were built on like the angst and the darkness of grunge, and you would embrace some weird stuff, but it still it needed to have this like irreverent or subversive quality to it. Even the Offspring, total novelty, but some of their songs, like they either swore or is about some violent topic. And if you're gonna branch away and embrace some of these good artists, like that music, for lack of a better word, was oftentimes happy. And it was like good feeling music, and that was just a total different feeling from what those stations were playing.
But I mean, if you're playing enough rap rock, you have to go, okay, let's what part of this is failing us? It's not the rock part. It's that the rap in these rap rock bands is atrocious. Maybe if we found maybe we adjust the mood of the station a little bit. Maybe we don't have to play Seether.
3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah, like
all the same band.
Yeah, like maybe
might as well be.
Yeah, like maybe I'm just talking about Atlanta. I'm not talking about Albuquerque or Vegas or anything. I'm talking about where it's happening. Like you would have just been like, maybe just to get some national cred. Then you get a relationship with the group, and then there's that whole like family of artists around them. I don't know.
Yep.
It's just a suggestion and an observation.
Try to BCN. Didn't Outkast or Andre 3000 play one of the River Raves?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once Andre 3000 went solo, then he was like a not even, it wasn't really even rap anymore. Now he's
playing the flute now. I'm gonna get some of that flute music in as the rejoin beds. What do you think of that? Huh?
I love that
Can't get enough.
I won't listen to it, but I love that he just does not care about being famous, and he's like, I just want to play the flute.
I love it.
And he didn't grow up playing the flute. He just likes the flute. All right, we'll be right back with Billy Jaffe.
More Toucher and Hardy.
He's got it. Touchdown.
WBZ-FM at HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
We had mixed results for the local pro sports teams last night in 3 different cities. Celtics blew a 7-point lead with under 5 minutes left, but they got a late Jason Tatum 3 to force overtime. They beat the Knicks 119-117 at Madison Square Garden. Kristaps Porzingis made 8 3-point shots and scored 34 points in all to help beat his old team in their own building.
Yeah, and obviously playing here, it's always very fun. Here the fans are super into the game, and they love the Knicks, and you know, I enjoy playing here as home player, and now also on the road. You know,
Jason Tatum added 32 points as well. Celtics have 59 wins with 3 games left in their regular season. They visit Orlando tonight. Brandy and Max had the pregame at 6:30 and the tip-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Bruins got a goal and 2 assists from David Pastrnak. They won as well in New Jersey 7-2. They'll play Chicago at TD Garden tomorrow night. On one of the coldest nights in Fenway Park history, Red Sox are beaten by the Blue Jays 6-1. Bo Bichette had 3 hits and 3 RBIs for the visitors. This 4-game series continues this evening. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Rodenizer Home Services. Rodenizer is offering first-time customers an exclusive discount on an AC system check for just $109. Go to Rodenizer.com to schedule today. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, The Sports Hub.
We should be different circumstances, you know. On the other hand, don't get me wrong, I don't take it for granted. Obviously, it's hard to score in this league, so obviously a big part of my line mates goes to them, credit to them, so it's tough to comment on it at this point. I'm happy we got the win.
That, of course, is John Moran talking about the controversy over his finger gun celebration. We are Toucher and Hardy. We are brought to you by no one. I just did that out of habit. We are on YouTube. You can subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. You'd be doing us a grand favor. Billy Jaffe, who I've known for so long.
We're equals, I heard, at 6:28 in the morning.
Yeah, like equals.
Like equals.
Billy Jaffe, you get that reference from Seinfeld, right?
Yes, and
It's pretty rare.
You guys, you can't love hockey if you haven't played it. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's not what we said. It said growing up. No.
I thought you guys both said about wanting to go to it, and your kids. You're talking about your offspring.
I think for kids watching hockey at a young age, it's a difficult game to watch and enjoy if you don't play it. That I believe, because
but if you take them to a game, what do you think?
Oh, if you take them to a game, that changes. That absolutely changes because it's a different game live. But everybody can conceive, and everybody has gone out and shot a basketball.
Yeah, I know.
You get an idea of what that's like. You know, you've tossed a football. If you haven't put on skates and seen like you can't appreciate it. You know what you're watching until you've actually tried to do it. Especially if you're a kid.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Now there are plenty of hockey fans who have never played, but
and there's a lot of people that are picking it up later in life.
It's rare for
that
a
was
kid
what was fun.
to just sit down and start watching a hockey. Just because they want to, because they think this is something that they immediately understand and appreciate.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like with me as a 2-year-old, I was mesmerized by it.
Was your dad into it?
No, like he would skate, but not. So played regularly, not in the league, nothing like that.
But did he grow up playing it?
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, you're
right.
Going, like I think it was recreational, right, in Chicago, in the suburbs there. But
a friend of mine,
I just couldn't get in. I literally fell in love with it. From Peter Puck.
The fun of it for me was actually that I got into it as like a young adult because it was like something new to figure out.
Yeah,
right. Like because I grew up playing baseball and football and basketball. And, I played baseball for a very long time until I was old.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I didn't know anything about hockey. So like I was saying, I had a good friend of mine in college when the Rangers went on that run.
Yep.
That used to live in Rye, New York, and his
the home of their practice facility for a while.
His uncle or his grandfather or uncle was the goal guy at the Garden.
Goal judge.
The goal judge at
Who
the
misses
Garden.
goal judges? I do.
He hit the thing, and then so like Hank, we called him. I don't even know why we called him Hank. His name's not even Hank. Hank had like 1 trillion pucks, and he brought him to school. He went from Rye, New York to Winter Park, Florida with his stupid pucks. He had like 1 million pucks because they flip him over the thing to him. Right?
Like the pucks to
because they
school.
practice in Rye, New York.
I know, but
Right. I don't know why. He didn't even play hockey. He was on the water ski team.
So weird.
Yeah, he was on the water ski team. He grew up in New York.
He had a prominent displayed in the dorm room. Here are my pucks.
Yeah, it was weird. He didn't even have them displayed. He had a box with all these pucks in them. It was weird.
Bring a woman back to the room. Here are my pucks.
Yeah, I paid the baggage fee to like get him down here. All right, so
anyways,
all right, so
how about the play of Pasternak? Seriously,
it's been great. But let's. I do want to talk to you about this. So
Hang on, we'll get there.
And I don't want to get down into the argument again. But like this is but this is a legitimate thing. So like this is rare for you guys. Like you've covered the Bruins for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never been this bad.
No.
No. So
the other 2 seasons when they didn't make the playoffs, it went to the last days.
Right.
And
so
this is complete. This is I've experienced this before with the Islanders and the Atlanta Thrashers, but never with the Bruins.
How is it different?
It's still, listen, all kidding aside, it's still, you're talking about hockey and we have fun. I have a great time. We were laughing our butts off last night about fun stuff. And
you enjoy your job, sure.
I do. But is it tougher? Sure. Absolutely. There's, anybody can do a good team. Anybody can broadcast a good team. You earn your keep, so to speak, I think.
Do you feel like you're talking into a vacuum? Like if you're on Nesson Plus at the end of the season, do you feel like, does it feel different? Like, does it feel different
No, I don't
the
feel
broadcast?
different. I don't. You can let yourself go that and say, well, maybe not as many people are watching and you're this and the team is out. But you know what? There's always somebody watching. There is, maybe not as many people, but there are. So I don't think that way. You get in, there's a different preparation for the games because I'm not breaking down, if this game is, with the roster, not only that the Bruins have, Fred, but also the other teams are starting to play. Am I breaking down what the Bruins need to do on their penalty kill against so-and-so's power play because these 2 points matter so much?
Right.
For where that's the difference.
You're analyzing more to macro than a micro.
Exactly.
Right.
And so now we've taken the route I have at least of, okay, we're watching Fraser Minton. We're watching Fabian Lysell. We're watching how are players handling certain situations. David Pasternak went through a teeny bit of a lull on that West Coast trip, but now he has turned it up to a level where you're like, that's freaking awesome what you're seeing out of him right now. So that's what I'm doing more of instead of the minutia of X's and O's.
Okay, so let's get into it. Who are they playing that you think has a future on this team? And how
Young
are they
kids
doing?
You're talking about?
Yeah, the kids.
Well, last night, I mean, and I said this on the pod late last. I mean, we both did. That was Fabian Lysell's best game for what it's worth, by far, Fred. Guys, that was his most recognizable, impactful game. He looked faster. He looked confident. That's the difference. Like he looked at a level of, okay, I've been here now for a couple of weeks, so to speak, and I look. Not so to speak. He's been here for I think 9 games now or 10 games. Like I feel better. He's got to do that a lot more, Fred, to where I can say he's going to be a regular with this team. But I'm going to take that one game where all of a sudden, not only is he touching the puck, but he's actually being noticeable with it. And that's what he has to do as an offensive player. But that's one game.
What do you hear about him, though? Because we've heard so much about Lysell. He's been like the guy, right? Like for all these years.
So long.
Well,
he's been there hoping.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying is that like as people that aren't, following minor league hockey.
What do I hear? I
like
hear inconsistent.
Yeah.
I hear we know he's got high level skill, but it's the wall battles, it's the net front, so it's making the right play with the puck on the breakout, not turning it over. It's getting into that second and third battle. It's keeping the same route or the good routes in the D zone. That's what it's going to be for him because he's not that big. I think he's got a lot of, from what I've seen. I didn't watch him except video, guys. From Providence. I didn't go down to a Providence game. Didn't have time to go watch him. But talking to people watching him, at times very noticeable, and other times still losing battles, not doing the little things that you have to do consistently at the NHL level.
So he's like a finesse player that needs to get more grit to his game.
Well,
like a little bit of grit to his game.
It's a little more compete, right?
Yeah.
It's compete. And because if he can get the pace up like we saw like last night, then you have a chance.
Okay.
Fraser Minton, he has a look to him out there. Nice that he scored a goal as a Bruin. His first as a Bruin, not first in the NHL. That's his third NHL goal. He had 2 with Toronto Maple Leafs earlier this year.
Ovechkin shake.
But he looks good out
Okay.
there. Like, he looks the part. He has good reads, good defensive zone recognition, a good stick. I would call him solid with regard to speed. I wouldn't call him a speed demon, but I would call him he moves well. So he's going to fill out more too. He's not even 21 yet. I would think that he'll have an up-down season next year, and then you hope that he's a regular with the team perhaps the year after. But here's a guy I think you can say, all right, middle 6 type center.
All right.
For this team.
That's what I was saying, because this team is littered with, and it seems like Providence is littered with bottom 6 guys. You know what I'm saying? I would
there's
like
no
a
question
prospect that could crack
I know
the
you want
top
a higher
6.
prospect. I get it.
How is the draft with that?
This year, it's from what I'm told. But the
I
furthest
looked
thing from is a
yesterday.
draft.
Very exciting.
It's the top 6 or 7, and then after that, there's a lot of question marks. The bigger draft is the following year.
Okay.
But
So it's like the
you have a
Patriots.
defenseman, you've got a forward that, in theory, that are the top 2 picks.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's a couple of question marks. I'm going to deep dive into it more after.
I deep dived 5 kids last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Bruins sitting there at 4, taking a big kid from some Slavic country or something. He more points than Pasternak, though, at his age in the same league. He's a big center.
It's like a Moneyball moment. I asked you to do 1. I did 5.
Yeah, exactly. It was a big time thing. Well, I heard, in all fairness, I heard Felger talking about it, and I'm like, because obviously I've been out on the Bruins. I don't,
have they been out scouting?
Well,
no?
Felger brought up like the draft, and like it's been so long. It's been since they took the 3 picks in a row that I paid any attention.
In 15.
Right. And so I was like, oh yeah, this team keeps losing. They keep Philadelphia gets a little pep in their step, and now you're talking about like a real chance at getting, like the
4 or
big time.
5. You
4 or
could
5.
even, and if you win the lottery, you could bump down even more.
Yeah, exactly. So so that's kind of fun. So I did look into it, and so but the idea is, and again, you believe me, don't be compelled to get too into weeds with this stuff. But like next year's draft is the draft with like the more
depth, more high end play, more depth. Okay. This is new. This is different. I mean, by the way, there's nothing to sit here and say that if they don't move up, let's say they're in the 4 or 5 spot or whatever, but if somebody else really wants a draft pick or something, you could also move it too. I mean, it sounds
move it for more picks or move it for
both. I don't know. I mean, you can't. Everything's got to be on the table. Everything. My guess is they end up. I mean, again, I'm not a draft expert here, but my guess is they end up keeping it to help to replenish the system.
Well, that's the idea, right?
Yeah. But I also think that they're going to.
But they want to
know they're going to be very active,
right?
Incredibly active, or at least attempt to be. And I don't mean like 1 or 2. I think they're going to be very, very active to try and replenish. To retool this team
on the
soon.
fly.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like
I would say the feeling is that they're going to look to. They're going to look to. Now the issue is here is the salary. One of the big issue we have, the salary cap is going up a couple of mil.
So other teams
so other teams have money too. And so could you see what's called an offer sheet to a restricted free agent?
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And that could be because now you have draft capital that you can you have to have that in order to make what's called an offer sheet.
Yeah.
To a restricted free agent.
Yes.
So there could be something there too. I just think they're going to be they're going to attempt to be
the
very
second
active.
person I've heard say that. It makes me think they got their eye on a restricted free agent. That makes me that you're the second person that's brought that very point up.
He looked away from you as soon as you said
that.
That.
Billy knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah.
He's saving it for the Morning Brew podcast.
Oh yes, I have these private conversations. I think that they're just gonna be aggressive as possible. Again, I go back to this though. There's 31 other teams out there.
Right.
Some of them are going to have some good money too. Now there's going to be a couple of teams that when we see all said and done, are going to be still closer to that cap.
We were talking about this a little bit, I don't know, weeks, maybe a month ago, whether or not just playing in Boston, playing for the Bruins, holds any sway over players. And I think I was arguing, I still thought it did. And not it's because necessarily original six. I mean, who cares? But there's something about playing for the Bruins.
There is.
That if there were a similar offer from another team, another big market, you might be swayed literally by the laundry, just by being able to play for the Bruins and in a town that cares about hockey.
It cares a ton about hockey. I mean, you look at the support is still fantastic. I mean, obviously people are disappointed, and but around town people are still talking about it all the time.
Xanadude just had a kid.
I heard that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So I mean, you got another viewer right
after
there.
Michael Ryder.
I heard that.
Once he gets in the demo,
I was just drinking my coffee in the car, and I heard. I was like, wow, hockey talk.
We're doing birth announcements on
I know.
there
I was
now.
going to say big.
Yeah, swap shop next.
When you name
next
a kid
week.
after Michael Ryder, I think that's worthy of some on-air conversation.
And by the way,
it's rare.
If you look at the guys with a Y, if you look at the guys that the Bruins traded, they're all hurt or not playing well.
Trent Frederick has played one game, lasted 7 minutes.
Well, you feel
for
bad
Edmonton.
because he hurt his ankle again.
Well, I mean, it was buyer beware. Edmonton knew he had the ankle problem, still traded for him. He lasted 7 minutes, and now he's out again.
Right. So if
Charlie Coyle had a good game last night. He had a good game.
But he had been struggling.
He had been. Yeah. That is such a top-heavy team in Colorado, or they've added depth. He's not. He's at his third-line center, but they play McKinnon 22.5 minutes a night. He's playing Charlie about 13 minutes. But he had a couple of assists and a shootout winner last night.
Do you wish you could go back and name your twins like Peverly and Paye? Just to pay tribute to some other.
If only I had thought of it at the time.
It's true. I mean, just P squared.
You could have named him. You could have named one Tim and the other Thomas.
And then you could have filled its head with a bunch of conspiracy theories and had it flip out and move.
I see doing it more with a pet. Like, that's cute. This is my dog, Hudobin. That's fun.
What a good dude Anton Hudobin is. He was so fun to work, like to cover.
Oh, really?
He's just a great guy. He is. Every day was a good day, and he almost had kind of like a beer league goalie mentality. He wasn't big. He was all over the place, competitor, but he was a wonderful guy just to talk with. He's that kind of guy that you look forward to seeing every day going into the room. So that's another thing, Fred. You ask about this, and I've broadcast a lot of. I have some in Atlanta and the Islanders hockey that was not exactly compelling. At times, you do have to watch yourself in the sense of you start going off on tangents here or there, but that's I guess part of broadcasting. But
we don't do that here.
Never. No. You're on the wrong show.
Before you came in, that was no tangent. That was pre-planned.
Right, but it's still talking hockey, and these guys most of them are great guys. So you go in there and you try and. It's not even find the positives. You try and find the fun to it.
We have the email segment next, Billy, but Blind Scott has 2 questions via email for Billy. Can I ask them?
Well, I mean, we have to. It's Blind Scott. I mean, we have to do everything he says.
First of all, doesn't Billy help coach like the United States under-19 hockey team? Ask him about that.
No.
Okay. And ask
If
Billy.
I do.
Ask Billy when he's at his men's league hockey in the morning if he sees other dudes' junk when they're changing in the locker room.
Because Blind Scott can't on the account of blindness.
Oh, well, if you're going to take a shower, yes.
Okay.
What an intimate sport.
Yes.
You have to shower afterwards.
Yes.
All
you
right.
guys would not like it if I didn't shower after.
I wouldn't care.
Just to get the stink of the equipment off.
Yeah, that's.
I'd take your shirt and
Hockey
sell it
gloves,
to Jimmy.
baseball gloves.
Nothing like hockey.
I made a good joke and you didn't catch it.
I didn't hear it. What'd you say?
Said I take your shirt and sell it to Jimmy.
I got a text from him last night.
Yeah, you did. Hell yeah, you did. The alarm went off on his phone. And I'll keep that between Billy and I as we're old chums. It's none of your concern what we're talking about.
We're
so left
equal chums.
Yeah. Get used to it.
Darn it.
I'm going to lean into this, Billy. We're just going to start talking in code.
If you're such good friends with
Exclusionary
Fred, do you know
a-hole.
what his favorite animal is? The leopard.
Oh.
You know why?
No.
He likes the spots.
It's another Seinfeld thing.
Same scene.
All right.
I didn't know you had a cat, by the way, Fred.
Yeah. I got a cat. I let my daughter.
You're much nicer than I am.
Yeah, this woman, the cat had kittens. My daughter found out about it. I said, fine, I'll get a cat. And then I didn't have the dog at the time. And then I got the dog because of my kids. And then the cat's afraid of the dog. It's a whole
What's the name
situation.
of the cat? What's the cat's name?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jet.
There it is.
Jet. My daughter named him Jet.
Okay.
After the New York Jets. So there you go. It's like naming your kid
remember
Ryder.
your own cat's name?
Dude, a lot's been going on. I had food poisoning. I don't know.
I'd be crapping in front of the litter box, too.
Exactly. I don't call her by her name.
Is it Kitty?
Yeah, just Kitty.
How do you do it? How do you call a cat?
Well, now I can't cheat on the fluff. R.I.P.
So you got to think
So I
of
just go
something different?
I just go like kitty, kitty, kitty. I can't do the fluff thing because it's somewhere the spirit of the fluff.
Be disrespectful.
I mean, that's my only real light of dying will be reunited with that cat. That will be something. That's what I pray for.
Do cats listen to people?
Yes. Sure. Well, yes. I mean, I had a cat.
They listen and disregard.
That's not true. You just brought it up earlier today. My old cat was freaking out in the car while my ex-wife was driving her around. And so she had to put me on speakerphone to talk to the cat to calm the cat down, and it
really worked.
Yes, John witnessed it.
Wow.
I did it on the radio.
Yes,
the cat was hissing
Just
and going
talked about that
crazy
this morning.
and I was going, and I started talking to the cat, and the
That's
cat
why
calmed
I came
down.
on the Ask him what it sounded like.
Yeah, what'd you say to the cat?
I said, kitty, kitty, pussa, kitty, 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 fluff, fluff, fluff. And then it went, meow. and it went, okay. Everything's okay.
I am fine now.
I am no longer in danger.
Cats,
I hear the voice of trust. Everyone is the Sandler goat. All right. Thank you, Billy. We appreciate it. We will be back with our award-winning email.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sport. Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit.
Kitty.
The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What a day we took phone calls. We had full phone lines over the most random nonsense, but we had full phone lines. And we heard Billy Jaffe talking about broadcasting to a smaller audience and how you have to stay on. Jesus, Blind Scott emails a lot.
Yeah. We're at 15 and counting for just this show.
Yeah, he's getting nuts. He's Blind Scott's on fire.
Yeah.
He's sending a lot. But we were talking before about if I was being a jerk or not by saying no one's listening to the Bruins games. Fred, you were obviously very accurate. I haven't even read this. I'm reading it for the first time on air. So if there's swears, don't get mad at me. Fred, you were obviously accurate about your comments.
You can't get in trouble.
Comments about why sports broadcasting ratings are generated by the quality of the team, but by saying that nothing the broadcasters and production staff do, nothing that matters to ratings suggests the jobs are irrelevant. I did not say that. You think you're not making that point, so he already knows I'm gonna. He's arguing. He knows my head. We're playing chess now. Okay, you took my pawn. You think you're not making this point, but respectfully, I think you're wrong. Well, all right.
No, you're down in material.
Ryan Johnson.
Don't lose a piece. No, don't hang your rook.
Wants to think a few extra people listen to the game because of him. All right, I'm not reading any more of this.
Yeah.
Because he disagrees with you. I don't blame you.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, we're really breaking down the minutia of my argument. The state. Now we're making the statement if, in fact, no one's listening, meaning that there are 0 people listening, to if a few more people are listening. I think we are all aware of in the English language, no one's listening. I don't even know if I said that, but if I do say no one's listening.
You said 12.
Yeah, okay, 12 people are listening. Did I say 12?
It's because I got Adam in my head. 12.
It's because I got Adam because I'm looking right there at Adam through that glass. Look, whatever. People seemed interested and they called in, and it's always nice to know if in my head. How ironic! Fred is being attacked because he listens to 98.5. I haven't read this one yet, too. So if there's a swear, please. How dare Hardy and John henpeck Fred because he wants to listen to Joe Murray instead of the Bees. At least Fred is listening to the station.
So are we to the Bruins.
You guys didn't listen to them last night.
And you would, and most nights you don't listen to Joe Murray when you're.
No, I do. I certainly do.
When you're at home.
Yeah, when I'm in the shower. Yep.
Oh.
I don't have a TV in the bedroom.
Oh.
You know why? That's just for nailing broads.
That's where the business gets done.
Yeah, that's the bone zone, baby.
You don't want to split your.
You don't need a TV in the stabbing cabin.
Nope. That's you read my neon sign. I didn't think it was up when we put the bed in. I don't need any distractions to take away from the vibe.
Oh, those lucky girls.
That's why I hear Grandy is because in the shower is that I put the thing on. Look, I meant it as a compliment to Joe. Really is what the bottom line is. And I do, at this point in the Bruins season, I get a little frustrated and I want to hear Joe. That was my point.
Maybe we collectively, Fred, not to single you out, could work on paying compliments without taking others down in the process.
Yeah. We'll put it in the queue.
Okay. Zach, haven't heard from Zach Zolo in a while. Love hearing from Zach. He says, hey, boys, you were talking about the rap rock stuff earlier. A quick shout out to the only document of rap rock that matters, the Judgment Night soundtrack.
Yes.
Sure, there are a lot of rap rock bands we could list, but as a person of taste, I will not. Just know Sir Mix-a-Lot and Mudhoney's Freak Mama still goes unnecessarily hard, and Teenage Fan Club and De La Soul mashup is the audio equivalent of Chris Forsberg as a person.
That's the best song on. That's the only song that stands up today. That's interesting take because the Judgment Night
Zach's
soundtrack
got good takes.
I'm not. Listen, we were having a
Loud Rocks, Incubus, and Big Puns. Still not a player.
Yep.
Oh, the best is
You
when
should you should roll a little bit of that for Fred. He'd really
I
like
think
it.
that's. Let me.
It's
go
Brandon Boyd. Yeah, he didn't work blue. Don't you
Yeah,
worry
I'll-
about that.
let me-
It's clean as a whistle.
Well, first pull up helmet. I want to get the opinion on the helmet thing.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah, but just I want you to hear it with fresh ears, 2025 years.
I don't think I can play the rap part of it though.
Oh,
'cause
yeah,
I
you
think
probably
it's
can't.
It's a little dirty.
Yeah.
But I'll try to find that thing.
I forgot that we're constrained by the man.
That's right.
By the way, Musk can go run around saying stuff that would get me fired. Did you hear that?
I can't with that.
But regardless of your take on it, Elon Musk is getting buried, but he's saying things that if I said, I would be in all kinds of hot water. And it's not like takes; it's terminology that I would get in trouble for. I don't like
Even
that.
he's using it. He's like, let's bring this term back. This is great.
But do you understand that the irony of it? It's not irony so much as it's a double standard that I don't care for.
No, I
don't want to use the word.
Yeah.
I don't like.
No, I
I'm
agree
not
with
like jockeying for that. I just read that and I was like, Jesus Christ! If I said that, I'd be.
The verses, if they're clean.
Well, they're super dirty in the song. So, yeah, you couldn't get and the kind of dirty that if it gets the kind of dirty, not N-word and traditional swears.
More like leftovers from the night before. You nasty twin. I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, it gets incredibly because I love that song. The Incubus song is obviously terrible and completely unnecessary, but the original is fantastic. And you know me, like I don't. Language doesn't. I'm not.
No.
Like I don't censor language for my children. But I even was a little uncomfortable the first time I played that in the car with my kids in it. I was like, I didn't realize how, because you only hear the radio version, like how descriptive he gets. It's a little awkward.
It's very graphic.
Very awkward. But the best is when Chris Nicuricado asked Big Pun what was the most he ever spent on sneakers. And he said, I don't know, like $2,000. And he goes, why? And he goes, because I liked him. He goes, but you'll never see him again.
Wow.
Because they're on his feet and he was so fat.
Right. Earlier we were discussing the mishap at the Hawks game a week or so ago where the fan blew his knee out in a halftime layup contest, and the announcer who had trouble handling things.
Oh, James! Oh, no! Hold on!
The moments of huge gaps of silence. Someone emailed him, imagine if she was the one announcing Kennedy driving through Dallas in '63. Oh,
too soon.
Dang! President Kennedy. Oh, man.
All right, we're going to have to get these cars. Y'all moving fast.
Everyone
these
move
cars
back.
everyone. These cars are still moving. I mean, this parade.
Jeff from Methuen. This parade is going to have to... John, you okay?
No, he's dead.
James!
The grassy knoll, everyone.
Well, stop the parade. Help him. Come on.
Someone in the third story
kind?
window. The third story window, everyone. Maybe we could have not had this controversy.
Oh, the president.
We're going to check on him.
By the way, they released all those documents and I haven't heard anything. So,
nothing.
So apparently not.
So much redacted in it. Yeah.
It's still all redacted? Then what was the point?
Well, we were promised
The point
by
was
the
to
White
distract
House
you from
none
the
of
other
it.
stuff.
White House promised none of it would be redacted.
Well, I
That
don't
it would
know.
all be free and
Maybe
clear
it's
for all of us.
Maybe it's redacted in perpetuity. Like maybe it's just redacted.
All right.
So who knows? All right. Very good. Go back and listen to Judgment Night soundtrack. I trust your take with this emailer being on point, but I will tell you that the only song that doesn't come off as embarrassing now might be the De La Soul Teenage Fan Club one. I'm not saying it's a great song, but if it was released today, it wouldn't sound completely antiquated.
That's the one of the two that he singled out. He said the Mudhoney and Sir Mix-a-Lot Freak Mama and the Teenage Fan Club De La Soul are the two standouts.
Oh, I thought he was saying those were the two bad ones because the Mudhoney Sir Mix-a-Lot song is not good. So I thought that's usually considered wildly the worst one on the album. I want to put you in the mud, honey.
But nah, man, guts like it ain't funny.
Yeah, not the greatest rap.
No, Sir Mix-a-Lot, not a good rap.
No. Everlast basically raps the IMDb page for Taxi Driver in the song.
Accurate.
I didn't know that. Okay. All right. We'll be back and finish this whole thing up. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Toucher and Hardy
That's what I want on my tombstone.
on the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on Toucher and Hardy.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. And what have we not got into today? It's hard to imagine anything.
Something we were actually going to get to yesterday, and that is Bill Burr. Now, if you have more thoughts on this, we can save it, but I think we can wrap it up here.
Sure.
All right. Bill Burr, I believe this was at the Conan O'Brien awards ceremony, maybe for the Mark Twain Prize or something like that. But Bill Burr was always, you know him, he's always saying something. Well, a journalist had a question for him based on something that they had heard. It went down like this.
About your reaction to Luigi Mangione. I was reading up, that perhaps you've been supportive of what he did. What is your...
Now, Luigi Mangione is the guy...
The hunk.
The guy who killed the healthcare CEO.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whose name the only reason I know is Luigi, and that everyone thinks he's a hunk.
Right.
Take on that.
If you were reading up, I don't think you read up on it. Because I said what I felt about it, and I said what a lot of people say.
Some people took it that way. So could you clarify what you think?
No, I'm not going to just have some controversial moments so you can get clicks. I'm not doing that. I'm here for Conan. I'm not doing all of this. What are you going to bring up next? The Middle East? I went to summer school 3 out of 4 years in high school. I'm not qualified to talk about this.
I was just going to beat it down.
What do you think about global warming?
You said about Elon that he was ruining Earth, I saw on The View. You're critical of him. What do you think of all the boycotts, like even the violence?
I don't watch the news.
All right, so stop. So what is the thing is this, and Bill Burr is smart, because the thing is now, and this was my point yesterday, it's a shame that it's 2 times in a row, but the point is like the new porn is getting woke people in quotations to pontificate on some issue and then to play it and react to it and say how they're pussies and everything else. And that is, what the hell were we talking about yesterday? That's like the whole thing. Oh, about them going to the White House.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing is about. It's like ammunition. Like you're just like, Bill is savvy enough. And I don't even know I honestly, and I'm not, believe me, like fence sitting. I have no idea what his political leanings are. Or for that matter, what he had to say about the kid the honk that killed that insurance guy. But he is savvy enough to know that that's what it's being used for. And it is weird that there's 2 of them. Like, so it's a thing now. Like, it's almost like TMZ.
Right. We're gonna send if there's a gathering of conservatives. Then the left media is going to send reporters out there to try and ask questions that are not necessarily anything about the night. This other way around, a bunch of entertainers together, conservative outlets are going to send their people out there to get after Bill Burr.
Here's what it is remember when in like the 2000s, like the religious right was like you thought of the conservative party as the religious right, and they would say all these goofy things about like music and movies and stuff, and they'd be ranting and raving about sex, and you would go, look at their lunatics, and comedy shows would take clips of it and they would poke fun at it. Well, now what's happened is that the left has this extreme, like, passionate, like, people screaming and yelling about what's going on in media. So now the right is taking those clips and then manipulating them much the same way, which is what the Democratic Party's got to figure out how to get out of. They don't want to be the equivalent of the religious right. They don't want to be labeled that way or as like crazy extremists or something. So one of the ways to combat that is that if they're going to send TMZ-style reporters to ask you political questions, then don't give them the material. Like, if you heard me say it, then obviously you have access to the audio. Play me saying it.
Which is essentially what he's...
Right.
He's saying kind of the same thing.
I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on. I watch Instagram. I watch people wipe out on motorcycles. I watch lions and hyenas fight each other. This is the things that I do. And I don't think you should be asking a comedian. You're a journalist.
Comedians are on top of current events.
No. That's
yeah, Rodney Dangerfield was a well-known Watergate expert. Gallagher. Oh, actually, yeah, Gallagher did talk about politics.
I'd like
That's
to.
a bad example.
Well, I would like to hear what Carrot Top has to say about these tariffs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's you guys passing the buck. You guys need to have balls again, which you don't. You guys always goes, should we be thinking this? Duh. You guys present stuff like that. You guys used to have balls. You need to get your balls back. And it's not my job. I am a dancing clown.
See, if you say you got to get your balls back, that's good too, because then that is the antithesis of the message. Is that like you're this sackless pussy that cries about everything. There's some term for it too that I don't even remember that they use. Weird. What the hell's going on? I don't know. I really don't pay attention to any of it, but I just know that there's this. That's the thing, is that you talk about elitists and how they're talking about and people are losing their minds about issues. Because I am seeing more of it now as I am interested in my savings, my nest egg as it deteriorates. But listen, it's only been a few days, so I am paying a little more attention to it than I usually do.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions over the last couple of days, but
my father
trying to think of it mostly as, and it is for the most part for most people unrealized at this point.
Absolutely,
but might have to realize a little something in the fall.
Look, yeah. If you look,
everything's gonna be okay.
That's right.
But bump bump.
That's right.
Thanks, Hardy. That's very inspiring.
All right.
It's not.
No, everything will be fine. All right. We will be back tomorrow as long as everything goes okay.
Yeah.
And there's not some disaster. I will be out at a preparatory school from 7 o'clock until God knows when.
Oh, is this a paid appearance? Should we? You're going to be signing things? You got bumper stickers? You got 25% off hell of a good dip coupons? What are you doing?
I will be watching amateur athletics this evening.
Is Milo pitching? Is he starting?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But for good reason. I mean, the kid who's starting throws 95. So I think that there's
this is the Duke commit.
Yes. Yeah. I would be in no position to be angling for one of the best pitchers in the country.
Yes.
Would be pitching this evening. So that's actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
So there you go. But it will be cold.
Yeah.
All right. We can see how he handles the elements.
Yeah.
I mean, the scouts there will have to figure that out.
Can he pitch at Fenway in April when the wind chill's 20?
Listen.
Yeah.
That's can he hold on to that slick ball?
That's
See,
right.
we got to it.
There it is.
All right. There you go. We finished the show with what we started with before it started. All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a good